10 G's in my pocket and I'm ready to roll, on fire like a rocket and I'm ready to blow. It's the Buddy Cop 2v2 Invitational Tournament. We ride together, we die together. Bad boys for life, you know what I'm saying? So, this is kind of a weird thing. I've actually not done a 2v2 tournament before on my channel. And there's a couple reasons for that. One, lag can kind of be a factor, and that's not really ideal when you're putting on a live stream experience for the viewers. But I wanted to try it out because, one, 2v2s are super entertaining. They're just fun to watch, and they're completely different from what you're used to seeing. Very different tactics, very different strategies, very different meta. And the factions that are strong in 1v1 aren't necessarily strong in 2v2, and vice versa. The idea behind this tournament is really, we're going to have one high-level competitive player with a relatively newish player next to them. Backdoor Slider and Jedi Mazdamundi donated me a Lamborghini, so I was like, well, you guys are in the tournament. Come on in, boys. But for the rest of them, it's Falcon and Kabumatic. Falcon is going to be, obviously, the top-level competitive player. Kabumatic is not necessarily super well-versed in PvP. So what we're going to get today is a bit of a duality, a bit of a dynamic going on, where whoever communicates best is probably going to win. Whoever worked out strats last night, probably going to win. Nightcrow, $5 donation stream hype for the sweet 2v2 setup. Thank you for the donation, my friend, much appreciated. And we're going to be starting on Oakenhammer, Falcon and Kabumatic on one side, Jedi Mazdamundi, Backdoor Slider on the other. On the other side of the bracket, we have Aerocrastic and PD, the Power Dragon, and King of the Dead, and Jonasny. So, lots of good players in this tournament. King of the Dead, Arrow, and Falcon are going to be your top-level guys. And the rest of them are going to be rocking... Well, none of them are completely new to PvP. They're not necessarily super experienced. So I think it should make for some pretty entertaining games because there's a lot going on here. A lot going on. Welcome, welcome. Even more insanity. Good morning, my friend. Giggling Warlock. Real money's on the Forest Elves. Yeah, so for the first game here, looking like we've got Wood Elves and Dawi. Obviously the most lore-friendly of alliances. And Empire and High Elves. Let's do it, boys. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I was going for, honestly. I wouldn't go anywhere near to say that anyone in here is famous. But in terms of skill level, there's certainly a gap, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's a skill gap between Falcon and Arrow and King of the Dead and most people on the planet, so I don't think that's anything to be embarrassed about. Skill gap between me and them. Obviously, I'm way better. Like, duh. I have a YouTube channel, so obviously I'm the best player in the world. That's how it works, right? Not lost since January 2009. Like, damn, who is this guy? These stairs go up. Arco, good morning, my friend. Or Zarko. Alright. So, Synergy is going to be the name of the game in a 2v2 tournament. It is all about picking factions that work well together. Lots of factions in this game are great in 1v1 scenarios. Not as many are amazing in 2v2 scenarios, but honestly, as with anything, army composition is almost always going to be the most important element of the game. Your micro is always going to be important, but you can win or lose based on army composition alone. So what we're going to see here at the start of this match is Backdoor Slider playing the Elves, and Jedi Mazdamundi playing as the Empire. A lot of cavalry. It's looking like there's a lot of mobility on the field for the Azur and for the Empire. So the cavalry is going to screen, they're going to go out wide, and they're going to be super annoying out on the flanks, and hopefully give these bolt throwers some time to counter-snipe artillery and snipe out high-value threats. So we've got some Empire Knights looking like there are 3 of them at least. A front line of Empire Spearmen, bolt throwers in the second ranks, Flagellants, Unbreakable, that'll be pretty useful in a lot of matchups, but honestly, I'd argue against the Wood Elves and against the Dwarfs, maybe not so much. They have a lot of cost-efficient, long-range killing power that can kind of just shoot them up. But there is something to be said for having an unbreakable front line, and that's certainly not going to be the worst thing in the world. They don't have an amazing AP split. They certainly don't have great stats, only 12 melee defense, But in terms of just being a roadblock and a tar pit for your opponent, maybe not the worst thing in the world. We do have Karl Franz and Deathclaw up top. Jade Wizard to heal him up nicely. The Imperial Griffin looking resplendent as all hell, as they are wont to do. And there's a... Well, here we go. We have Techless, but not on his Arcane Phoenix. So his spell selection is Regrowth, Flaming Sword of Ruin, and Net of Ammontalk, which it looks like what he's going to be going for here. Some kind of gooning play. So Techless will run alongside the two nobles. Maybe net them down when they come in, dive in for like a rear charge or something. And then the nobles can beat up on them. And obviously they have 340 weapon strength and a lot of AP, bonus for large, so really not bad on that front. On the other side of the field, it's Falcon and it's Kabumatic. Longbeards, a lot of great weapons. Dwarf Warriors in the front ranks. Out on the side here, just have a regular Lord. So going very cost efficient on this one. Completely stripped down, naked. Butt ass naked. No items, nothing special on him whatsoever. So just going for that wide build. A lot of long beards, putting a lot of bodies on the field. And in the rear, bunch of cannons. As you would expect with the Dawi in a 2v2. Looking like 4 cannons, so that is a lot of long-range firepower. And that's going to definitely be advantageous for the Dawi. That's going to force the Empire and the High Elves to come to them. Falcon up top with a Glade Lord on a Forest Dragon. Some Way Watchers, looking like 3 of them. Wild Riders in the back as well, 3 of those. And pretty much a full range and kite build. And this is where the Dawi can get so strong in a 2v2 scenario, because obviously their leadership and their tankiness in general is super, super high. So maybe not the strongest in a 1v1. I don't think they're a terrible faction there. But in 2v2s, that staying power is exactly what you need to give the other player a lot more time to do what they want to do. Whether it be flank with Elven Cav or fire in with Way Watchers, those dwarfs are going to give you a lot more time to do what you want to do. So I like this build. Honestly, this is strong. A lot of long-range killing power from the Wood Elves and dwarves here. Wild Riders to harry the flanks, and they'll trash on Empire Knights pretty easy if they get the charge. And then a Forest Dragon up top. A Branch Wraith with... looking like... actually can't even tell. Is that Pendulum? Yeah, we got Pendulum and Earthblood. With a Way Stalker. We'll be trying to snipe out the nobles and maybe some of the artillery with the Arrows of Kurnus. So remember, every time this Way Stalker fires in with the Arrow of Kurnus, he can kill an artillery piece. So Arrow of Kurnus is very good. From across the map, really. Every time he fires it, he will take out 1 artillery piece, and so you fire 3 of those, and it won't be long before an Eagle Claw bolt thrower is completely offline. Yeah, let me see if I can fix that. I'm not sure what the deal is right now. Everyone who was watching stream last time said there was no problem whatsoever. I have noticed this to start being an issue. I might need to update OBS or something. That's weird. Tell me if you guys are having any FPS issues. It's definitely looking like it's a problem on my laptop right now. But I don't know if that's just my laptop, or that's actually a big issue. Let me know if you guys are having any problems right now. I actually don't know how to fix that, if that's actually going to be a problem this entire stream. Hopefully not. Alright, so Arrow of Kurnus is going to take out one of the artillery pieces early. Actually, it didn't. It missed this time. Hellblaster Volley Gun is still online, but it did take half HP in damage. He's going to pull that crew off of the cannons completely and move them backwards. Bolt throwers are beginning to fire, and now another Arrow of Kurnus arcing across the battlefield and still going after the Hellblaster Volley Gun crew. Very choppy. Okay. Not ideal. I don't know why. I'm actually not sure. My computer is definitely more than capable of running all this stuff. As you guys well know, I've streamed many times before. I'll tell you what. We'll deal with it for this one, then I'll try to figure it out after. I'm sorry guys, I'm not really sure what the problem is. It wasn't an issue last time. No one told me that there was an issue, but it does look like it might be kind of a problem right now. Alright, so we'll play this one out, and then I'll try and address that issue afterwards. Okay, so cannons are opening up fire on the spears. We got a Glade Lord firing in from up top. Weight Watchers moving out to the flanks, so the Silver Helms are moving into a position to move in. But obviously, Prey of Anathrema and the net from the Glady could severely mess them up. And already, that single volley from one Weight Watcher each destroyed these Silver Helms. Took them down to half HP. Pretty nice right there. Over on this side, we've got more cannons firing in on the Spears and the White Lions as they move up. Bolt throwers are trying their best to counter artillery. They do a great job of that. But I would say overall, the Dwarfs have more long-range killing power. Their cannons are going to do better in that counter-battery scenario. And you can already tell the Eagle Claw bolt throwers are feeling the effects of that. Talons of Torquelada moving up. They are getting a full volley into the Glade Guard, going down to half HP immediately. Weight Watchers are pulling back, and we'll be seeing a kite game looking like the Wild Rider should have plenty of time to move in and get some free charges. Yeah, straight up the center. They did brace in time, though. But man, a Wild Rider charge is no joke. 67 charge bonus. Obviously, if you have Orion and that Horn of the Wild Hunt, it can get all the way up to 100. And Teclis is in a precarious position right now. Oh my god. Down to half HP. Now, he does have the Potion of Shiroi, or he should anyway, so he'll pop that, and he should be able to be relatively safe if he notices it in time. Oh, Teclis, you are just getting massacred right now. He pulls back, get that damage resist. Gets the heal, so he should be fine for now. So Perfect Breath coming in, and an Earthblood to heal up the Wild Riders out on this flank, and this is going to be a great engagement for the Wood Elves. There will be some losses on the Azrai side of things, but still murdering these Silver Helms. Full surround off on them. Flagellants, White Lions, and the Azure Spearmen moving into range, and they'll be charging into the Dwarf Warriors up front. Okay, so we've got Blade Guard moving back behind the safety of the Dwarven Phalanx. Talons of Torquelada are completely gone, and obviously the Weight Watchers are going to be super strong in this kind of scenario. Teclis is dead. Cannons and the Weight Watchers were way too much for him. Even the Potion of Shiroi did not keep him online. Falcon, the Forest Dragon, landed, tear around the rest of the Silver Helms, and that's a lot of the mobility dead for the High Elves and Empire. That's a feels bad man for sure. So Outriders, Grenade Launchers firing in, but this isn't really the target they want to be firing into. Rather be firing in tightly packed, densely packed infantry. And over on this side, looking like the Empire Knights, moving around the flank here. Flagellants and Spearmen ready to charge in as well. Dwarf Cannon Crew, well, their cannons are dead, so might as well charge them into melee and stuff them up. Just tar pit a little bit. But yeah, the entire back line for the Dwarfs and Wood Elves is completely safe at the moment. Big Pendulum arcing through, killing an absurd amount of Flagellants and High Elves on that front battle line. That was disgusting. Blade the Lord up to 60 kills. Branch Wraith got 168 from that cast. And the Nobles aren't going to be safe either. Prey of Anathrema and some nice shots from the Weight Watchers will really trash them up pretty good. So the Forest Dragon is coming in now. Waystalker still firing. Nobles going to be forced to charge into the front of a Longbeard Phalanx, and that's not ideal. Coral Franz and the Griffin have not made any impact on this battle whatsoever. They are moving around the side for now. Looks like a clean charge into the Glade Guard. But Slayers are going to be right there to pit them in place. And that's going to hurt the Empire Knights for sure. Wild Riders coming in. Great synergy from the Dwarfs and Wood Elves so far. I'd actually venture to guess, in all 2v2 scenarios, this is probably one of the stronger matchups you'll see. One of the strongest alliances you'll see. Because they just have so much synergy together. Wood Elves have so much armor-piercing shooting power. And the Dwarfs just have that staying power. And yeah, look at that, man. Coral Franz is dead. He's just dead. Prey of Anathrema, and he is gone. This is over. This is super over. I think Wood Elves and Dwarfs are going to be able to take this without too much problem whatsoever. Really nice play. That net is so disgusting. Coral Franz did nothing. He cost like 2,500 gold. All the cavalry back here getting healed up by Falcon. Yeah, they're going to completely run over the Empire Cavalry, and once that's gone, it's going to be game, set, match. Now the Noble is next on the agenda for Falcon, sniping them out hard. Slayers are doing a great job of tying up the Empire Knights while the Wild Riders come into support. And the Glade Lord is still full HP. And the cannons are still online, too. Yeah, Franz just got completely dumpstered there. That was pretty disgusting. And this is about to be army losses any second now, I'm thinking. Yep, Noble routed. Army losses about to kick in. Weight Watchers getting another dirty volley into the Outriders, and that's going to be game. Wow, very impressive. Very impressive from Falcon and Kybomatic there. That was pretty brutal watch. I am not gonna lie. I'm actually surprised these Spearmen haven't broken yet. I guess Army losses works differently in a 2v2 scenario. Longbeard's coming in. Gonna get a full charge off. Dwarf Warriors coming in as well. Get a little bit of fighting, but yeah, that's gonna be your game. Okay, very well played. So Perfect Breath gonna destroy these Flagellants. Oh my god. Up to 110 kills. And I guess the Unbreakable troops are gonna be the only thing that's left. So if you're talking about 2v2 synergy, generally speaking, you want a faction that can tarp it really efficiently. So Skaven, Dwarfs, there are two ways to tarp it, right? There's the zombie way, the horde of undead bodies way, where you just throw in meat shield after meat shield after meat shield, or you just pick a faction that's really tanky. And Dawi kind of represent that other end of the spectrum, where they just kind of hold out and block charges and last for forever with their high armor and their high leadership values. And yeah, that gave more than enough time for the Weight Watchers and the rest of these Dwarfen units to do what they wanted to do. So it looks like one more Flagellant about to die. It's gonna be your game. All right. If anyone has any suggestions on how to troubleshoot this lag that I'm getting, let me know. The only thing I can really think of is updating OBS, but I think I'd have to stop the stream to do that. If that's what I have to do, that's what I have to do, but I'd obviously rather not go that route. But you're right, it doesn't look great on my laptop right now. And it's weird because I was seeing this exact same thing last time I streamed, but I specifically asked everyone on stream and a couple of my friends if they were having issue on their end, and they said no. But this time it looks like it's hitting more people and you guys are actually noticing it. So my only thinking right now is that I need to update OBS or something. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, nothing has changed with my computer at all. Has it evened out for any of you guys, or is it still a problem? I imagine it still is. Well, if I turn it off and on, the stream ends, my dude. And obviously I can't see the stream problems until the stream actually starts. So, no, I have not done that. No, someone's saying looks great at my end. Everyone just hit restart and see if that works for you. Just refresh your stream and see if that does anything. I don't know that it will. But that's so weird. Like, that's the thing that I don't get. I asked that question, and for me, the stream looked bad. But I thought, oh, hey, that's my 2010 laptop, no problem. It's just on my end. Everyone else said it looks great. Not an issue whatsoever, so I figured it was just a problem on my side. Now some people are saying stream looks great, no lag, no choppiness whatsoever. Other people are saying that it's a problem. So it might be a YouTube problem, honestly. I'm not really sure. It's really, really weird. Obviously, I'd rather not be running into this as I stream. No slow-mo. It was bearable. Windows is up. It shouldn't be a Windows update. That shouldn't be it. Okay. Well, I don't really know what to do, boys. Let's talk about this game, and we'll see if it evens out. I realize it's not ideal. Yeah, see, like a lot of people are saying it looks fine. I don't understand. Anyway, we'll ignore it for now, and hopefully it gets better. So, for Jedi Mazdamundi and the Empire, we had Karl Franz do absolutely nothing. The poor Deathclaw, the Imperial Griffin, had a real bad time. Like, my god. He came in from the flank, got netted immediately, and died instantly. We had a Jade Wizard. Trying to heal him up. Didn't work in time. Flagellants, I think that's a risky pick against a Dawi and Wood Elves build. I mean, the Flagellants just won't survive against any arrow pressure whatsoever. And, obviously, the high-value stuff, like Karl Franz, not going to do so well against Prey of Anathema and Weight Watchers. There's a lot to think about in a 2v2 as well. It spreads your micro and your attention a lot further than a 1v1 would. You have a lot more to think about. And that's where hidden Waystalkers and Prey of Anathemas can really kind of trip you up. The Empire Knights try to come in, but their attack was a little bit late. Hellblaster Volley Gun got destroyed by the Arrows of Kurnus, so honestly, Falcon and Kybomatic had everything they needed to deal with those Empire and Azure troops. Backdoor Slider, on the other hand, yeah, Teclis got destroyed and sniped out immediately. Silver Helms got destroyed in the Wild Rider fight, and the White Lions barely made it into melee in time. But the Dwarfs, they did exactly what they needed to do. Cannons, shot the crap out of stuff, had a bunch of infantry, a lot of it. It was all the infantry for both players was on Problematic side. And then Falcon carried the day for sure. Wild Riders ran over the Empire Knights. Way Watchers each got 2 chevrons, sniping out Karl Franz and the Empire Knights, and Blade Lord and Branch Wraith and Waystalker all made pretty large impacts too. So very well played, well thought out strategy from the Wood Elves and Dwarfs, and we'll see if Jedi Mazdamundi and Backdoor Slider can come back in game 2. Yeah, for sure. I will do a lot more research before the next stream and get it evened out if I can. Now, I imagine it has something to do with updating OBS. Hopefully it is on my end and it's an easy fix, but yeah, it's super annoying. I'm sorry, guys. Don't really know what to do about it unless I just stop the stream entirely, which I obviously don't really want to do. Only other thing I can think of here
Fortune favors the infamous.
Is maybe switch back between my splash screen and go back to this? Maybe do that 1 or 2 times and that might even it out. Not sure. James with the $10. Thank you so much, my friend. Much appreciated. Yeah, map is Karag drawn. We're going into that in game 2 now, and I imagine we'll be getting different factions as well. Yeah, the tank with the $10 donation. Thank you, my friend. Much appreciated. Yeah, but that's the thing. I think it's stream related right now. It's not lag in game. That lag isn't happening in game. It's just from the stream itself. So it could be my end or it could be YouTube. I live on the East Coast, Washington, D.C., or roughly outside that, suburbs outside D.C., so I'm about 20 minutes outside the nation's capital.
Fortune favors the infamous.
That's what, let me give me 1 second. My bad. Yeah, no, that was last donation. The tank one. Pro tip, ban Wood Elves next game. And Nevada, choppy video or not, I'm here for that smooth voice. Thanks for all the great streams recently. Thank you, Nevada2217. Much appreciated, my dude. We got lots of content coming. Yeah, it's been a little bit slow, honestly, over the last month or so. I've been trying to branch out, experiment with some new games, do some new stuff as well. We'll be picking up on the Warhammer 3 stuff pretty soon, I think. Well, that's the hope anyway. And with a new DLC in Warhammer 2. Plenty more content as well, but has been a teeny bit slow. So we've got bans here. James Radcliffe. Boy, Oliver Holm. I just refreshed and it works perfectly now. Think it's a YouTube problem? Might be. Wish I knew. James Radcliffe. Mr. Indy, when do you think we might get a Warhammer 3 announcement trailer? I think we're gonna get it this year, honestly. I really do. But honestly, I thought we were getting the game in 2019, so at this point, my opinion on it is completely irrelevant. I have no idea what CA's plans are. I do think we'll get a trailer by the end of the year because I think we'll get it in the first half of 2021. But I thought we would get it in 2019. I thought we'd get it in 2020, and it keeps getting, I don't even know if pushed back is the right word. We never knew it was even coming. In terms of when it was coming. But my bet right now is that we get it in fall or winter of 2020 is when we get the trailer. So we'll have roughly, usually there's a 6 or 7 month period between when those things come in, between when we get the trailer and we get the actual game itself. So that run up is always hype as hell. And honestly, I have more fun with it, or as much fun with it as I do the game itself. The run-up to any big release like that is always incredibly hype. It's fun to talk to you guys about what's happening. It's fun to break down the trailers. And honestly, back when Warhammer 2 came out, I still wasn't super into the news. It was more like during the life cycle of all that news that I started really getting into that kind of thing. I didn't do that much of a trailer breakdown when Warhammer 1 or Warhammer 2 came out, but a little bit after that is when I really started tackling that kind of content, and we'll be doing so much of that for Warhammer 3, so that'll be very exciting. And the trailer itself should be dope as well. I mean, we're going to be seeing demons and hopefully ogres and chaos dwarfs and other stuff like that. Gonna be crazy, for sure. Colm, good luck in your tournament, man. Hope you do well there, my dude. Have fun. That's the most important thing. Indy, you got me into this fantastic game. Got over 1,000 hours. Thanks, man. You are very welcome. I'm glad to hear it. It is an awesome game. Ridiculous amount of content. I have 2,000 hours, and it's my job. But, I mean, that's still like an obscene amount of time in it, and most of it has been fun. Obviously, and I've talked about this before, but anytime you do anything as your full-time job, it can wear on you a bit. You can get burnt out a bit, and there are definitely times where I get burnt out on Warhammer 2. But I'd say 95% of the time, I am super enthused and excited to bring you guys content because I dearly do love this series. It is fun as hell, man. Really do love it. The Tank and Nevada, thank you guys both very much for the donations. I don't know exactly when a DLC is coming, but there will be one this year for sure, maybe even 2. We don't know exactly when. Last one was late April or May, so the next one should be around September, October time, I would think. Who that will be, I'm not sure. My guess right now is they will do Beastmen Wood Elves because they have to do both overhauls, but they could split it up. They might do Beastmen versus another race and Wood Elves versus another race. But my personal preference is just get it all done in one go, baby. Gotta take a little extra time to do so, because both campaigns definitely need some overhauls, then do it. But, I think a Wood Elves Beastman would be pretty hype and very thematic as well. And you can handle it the exact same way Marcus Wolfhart and some of these other lords have made it into Warhammer 2 as Warhammer 1 races. Just make them playable in the Vortex campaign as their own faction. Falcon playing various flavors of the absolute scum of the earth this tournament, huh? Well, I must say, there are some very scummy 2v2 strats, and if anyone knows how to bust those out, it's probably Falcon. Like, that's just the reality of it. Vampire Pirates are super strong here, because they are also great in terms of that meat shield potential, and the long-range killing power. And I think that one of the things about 2v2s is there's a bit of an exponential factor when it comes to your damage output from range when you've got a second army protecting you. It makes it a lot easier to invest purely in artillery, purely in handgun play, in gunpowder, in Waystalkers and Waywatchers and stuff like that when you have someone else protecting your army. In a 1v1, you can't get away with a full Waystalker or Waywatcher build, obviously, because you'll just get run over by Cav. But if you have a second player protecting you with a shield wall, suddenly all that there's a force multiplier effect where you can deal a lot more damage a lot quicker. And I think we saw that very well in the last battle. So we'll see if Jedi Mazda Mundi and Backdoor Slider can bring this back. It's looking like we got Lizardmen, Greenskins, Vampire Pirates, and High Elves. And I think Vampire Pirates and High Elves is a pretty synergistic combination as well. I don't know that I would consider Lizardmen an amazing 2v2 faction, but I guess it depends what you go for. You could go for a full Dino Rush and just terror route stuff, but I'd be a little bit nervous about that against all, like, Sisters of Avalorn and cannon fire and handguns and how many bodies you can throw on the field as the Curse of the Black Pearl Pirates. Greenskins can go for very wide builds as well. One of the things you'll often see with them is a big on rush, and I think that could be really good here, but you might want some shields on the front ranks, and just honestly, just go for the widest build possible. Just put a lot of bodies on the field and just swarm. They might have gone a little bit too top heavy in the last game, and maybe the right play is to go for what we saw with like that Rune Lord, or not the Rune Lord, just the regular Dwarf Dismounted Lord. Strip down completely, lets you build a bigger army. A lot to be said for that. Yeah, I'm not sure that Chameleon Skinks quite have enough DP yet. Like, I feel like you want to just pick things that have a ton of DPS that can kill things super fast in 2v2. So, Chameleon Skinks are a great 1v1 unit because you have all the time in the world to skirmish. But you're not going to have a lot of time against the Vampire Coast or the High Elves. They're guaranteed to have a ton of artillery. We might see stuff like Queen Bess. And there's not actually a ton of tools on the Lizardmen or Greenskin side of things. You can easily deal with something like a Queen Bess. A little bit scary. Who do I think is stronger lore-wise, Blood Knights or Grail Knights? Personally, I would go for the Grail Knights in that situation, simply because Grail Knights are kind of designed to be great against the undead. I wouldn't say that overall Grail Knights are stronger. I'd say in terms of pure killing potential and lore, they're the same level. But I'd say that Grail Knights maybe have the advantage in a fight between those two, simply because the Grail Knights are known for purifying the undead. That's what their holy flaming lances are all about. Their magical attacks as well. It unbinds the Wind of Shaiish, which is what holds vampires together. So I would think Grail Knights would do well in that fight. In game, Blood Knights are better because they can have their models come back to life, which is obviously super strong. Invocation of the Heck is apparently a pretty good spell. I remember in the lore and in the tabletop and in the source material, Invocation of the Heck is not supposed to be good against high value targets. It's better against, or better used on skeletons and zombies and chaff, fell bats and dire wolves and that kind of thing. Against Blood Knights, you don't get as many wounds back, you don't get models back as much. It's much less effective against those kind of things. But in Warhammer 2, it is the same level of healing effectiveness against single entities and Blood Knights and stuff as well. So, interesting design decision there. We'll probably balance out Blood Knights a bit more. But honestly, I don't want them to do anything more with Invocation of the Heck. I think it's fine the way it is. And frankly, I like healing my Blood Knights up to full. It's nice. I like getting models back on them. It makes them a lot more fun to use. Yeah, dude, I don't know what's wrong with Venrus. I'm gonna be honest. That's the weirdest point of view I've ever heard in my life. Ogres are lame. I don't know if he's doing it for the memes. I think now he's doing it for the memes, but I think when he originally said it, he believed it, and he probably still does to an extent. Very strange to me. Like, Ogre Kingdoms are awesome. I don't know why you would not want to see them. Just a full army of big old boys and some fantastic monstrous cavalry. Alright, so for the Greenskins and Lizardmen build, we do have some Shelobs on the field. Arachnarok Spiders, some Stone Trolls, Goblin Wolf Riders, Salamander Hunting Pack in the back, Chameleon Skinks, Pterodon Riders, and looking like a front rank of Skink cohorts. So 4 of those, Saurus, the Shields, Spears, Alec, mate, how do I pronounce your last name? Adangelo? Adangelo? Thank you for the 8, again, euros or pounds, still don't know, because I'm an idiot. Gonna be that guy, but you are gonna do a lore army tactics video for Southern Realms. Loved your Lizardmen lore video, it's what got me into fantasy. It's awesome to hear, man. I think that'd be fun. I think doing a lore army tactics for Dogs of War would be a good idea. So I think we could maybe look into doing that for sure. Thank you very much for the donation, my friend, much appreciated. So there are 2 Stone Trolls. This is a really cool unit. We've seen a lot of them actually since the Warden and the Paunch came out. High missile resist, high magic resist, great stats, a lot of mass, and one of the things they're really good for is just blocking up monsters and taking a lot of artillery fire. Shooting them with cannons, shooting them with pistoliers, shooting them with all that stuff, I'm not going to kill them very easy. Now, Sisters of Avalorn and the Talons of Torquelada could, though, with their flaming damage. So we'll see if the High Elves and the Vampire Pirates brought stuff like that. Now, look at this. They have definitely been doing some strat building for sure. Got an Archmage on an Eagle with War of Life. full line of Silverin Guard and Spearmen. So Phoenix Guard in the back too. So full spears. And again, his job, what Falcon's worked out with Kabumatic here is basically just be my meat shield. I will focus down the high value threats. So once again, we're seeing, actually, okay, so he's not going double gunnery white that I can tell. Just one gunnery white on a crab and a vampire fleet captain as well. No, not even a gunnery white. Actually, these are both vampire fleet captains, vampires and deep. So here we got Invocation of the Heck and Drown Dead for the zombie summons, of course. And here we have Vangeist's Revenge, baby. Full-on broadsides. We're going to be looking out for that spell. That's a hype pick. I'm in love with Falcon right now. So he has 2 cannons, some bolt throwers in the back, some zombie dick hands, and a bunch of deck droppers with handguns on Overwatch as well. Routing Leviathan provides some terror and mass and killing power on the infantry. Remember, they did get a 15 bonus versus infantry 2 or 3 patches ago, so they are more efficient in the anti-infantry role, and I'm liking the build overall. For the Archmage, we have Regrowth and Earthblood. That is it. So it's Gorok and a Skink Priest of the Lower Beast with Transformation of Kadon and Flock of Doom. And a lot of Savage Orcs too. So Greenskins and Lizardmen are very clearly doing one thing and one thing only. We're going to skate to one song and one song only. It's all about running into melee and swarming this front line. Now, it's a little bit dangerous because this Silverin Guard line is going to set up some juicy Vangeist's Revenge if they're not careful. More importantly, Silverin Guard hold the line incredibly well. They have relatively high AP. They're going to do well against Saurus. They're going to do well against Savage Orcs. They're going to do well against a lot of these troops. So if you're the Greenskins and Lizardmen, you maybe want to just avoid the front line and try to put pressure on the flanks here and get into that squishy center. Get into this stuff. Once the bolt throwers fall, you're going to be in a lot better position to take this game, but obviously can't completely avoid the Silverin Guard. It's a great 2v2 unit. A lot like the Dwarfs. High armor, high melee defense, shields, high leadership. Annoying to kill. And the game's going to start with Skink Cohort getting pooped on by some cannon fire. You cannot give control of your units to the other player in multiplayer 2v2s. No. Red goes faster indeed. Can the Greenskins bring this one back and go to a decisive game 3? Or will it be Falcon and Kabumatic taking the win in game 2 and moving on to the grand finals? There are 4 teams in this tournament, so not going to be the longest stream I've ever done. I want to thank you guys all for joining me on this auspicious afternoon. It's not so auspicious for the Lizardmen so far. Bolt throwers and cannon fire tearing that ass up. We do have an Ancient Salamander as well. You've seen that in action a couple days ago. They are a very solid unit. And they're going to be moving out to the flank here and maybe shooting into stuff like the Phoenix Guard and the Lothran Sea Guard. Put some pressure on the missile play and the spears. Now, one thing to remember about this map, Karadron, there are some shot blockers. So if you are getting sniped out, your Lord's getting shot down, think about just moving them behind that and you won't be able to shoot them anymore. There's definitely some damage coming in on the Lizardmen so far. Bolt throwers, when they're in that spread formation firing multi-shot, they don't kill a lot of models, but they do deal a lot of damage to tightly packed infantry, and that's what we're seeing here. Saurus already down 15 models so far, mostly to the cannon fire from the carronades. But he's going to go straight into melee. And this front line is not going to perform particularly admirably against a bunch of Silverin Guard. Yeah, that 54 melee defense is so hard to cut through. But it's not going to be the infantry that really matters. It's going to be about the support play. About this Arachnarok, about Wurzag, the Great Green Prophet, and the Big Boss, about the Ancient Salamander and the Pterodon Riders out in the flanks. And Pterodon Riders can actually put a lot of pressure on the Fellbats and Deck Droppers up top. But we do have to 8-peak Loonies, unbreakable, poison-causing Night Goblins. We got a big old crab blob coming in. Araness Assault Spite as well. So look out for her net. Very good tool in a 2v2 scenario. Skink Cohort getting completely run over here. And here comes the Rotting Leviathan. into the flank. This will be a terror route for the Saurus Warriors pretty soon. Nice cannon shots coming in on Wurzag. Definitely got to be careful, remember. If you're getting shot up a lot, just move behind that rock. Take some cover. So the Savage Orc Airboys are firing in on the Rotting Leviathan, but remember, it has 150 armor, so chunking through that is not particularly easy. Usually want to have Plague of Rust or some kind of spell to mitigate that armor a little bit and get through it a little bit easier. Not quite enough range AP to deal with it quickly, but not the end of the world there. There's some pressure being put out on this side. Here come the Salamander Hunting Pack and the Pterodon Riders. Transformation of Kadon will be a great way to put pressure on the deck droppers up top. And the Silvern Guard line is holding admirably for now, man. They're going to be able to push these Saurus back pretty easy with all this focus fire coming in as well. Silvern Guard are such a damn good unit. Nice shot coming from the Ancient Sally, though. Beautiful. Killed 11 models on the Lothran Sea Guard right. Oh, a really nice play here, too. Gonna see some Fanatics going through, and it looks like a Foot of Gork as well. No, not a Foot of Gork. That's gonna be a Brain Bursta. Effigy to get down on the Rotting Leviathan. Wurzag is running into melee with the Crab. I'm not quite sure I'd recommend that. Uh-oh. Yeah, gotta get him out of there for sure. Ragnarok Spider, Fists of Gork, and get back here, pop on them, trying to go in. Rotting Leviathan will not do so well against a Ragnarok Spider. And the Transformation of Kadon, Feral Manticore on top of the cannons. While on this side, they're actually dealing with the Lothran Sea Guard very efficiently. Chameleon Skinks and the Ancient Sally routed them off real quick. Flock of Doom on the artillery and the Lothran Sea Guard. And this is the engagement the Greenskins want. Maybe. Oh, here come Vanguy's Revenge. Oh my god. Oh, it just chunked through a whole bunch of Orc Boys and Savage Orcs. See what kind of kill count I got. Deep Caster up to 194, and you can see the carnage left in its wake. Oh, man. That was brutal. Yeah, gotta pay attention to the spell selection for your opponents, otherwise that kind of thing can happen. Ancient Sally up to 52 kills, doing a very good job so far. But the infantry fight is kind of in disarray for Lizardmen and Greenskins right now. Bolt Throwers focusing on the Missile Cav in the back. Dickhand's doing a great job of providing a cushion and a safe space for these guys to fire in. And the Arachnarok is surprisingly getting beat up, and I guess a lot of it has to do with Iron Nessa and that bonus for large AoE spell she has. That passive, and I did forget about that. She actually does have a passive that grants plus 15 bonus for large, I believe, or maybe plus 8. And it's giving the Rotting Leviathan bonus for large as well. So the Arachnarok Spider did not like that fight. Is pushed back for now. Greenskins will have to bring in some Stone Trolls or something to tie down the Crab, so the Arachnarok doesn't get chased off the map. Gorok's in there, and now he's beating up on some Lothran Sea Guard. He's full HP and trying to get into the artillery crew now. Good shots coming in from the Salamander Hunting Pack on top of the deck droppers. Doing a really good job of shutting them down. They'll die early. They've not fired a lot of their ammo either. And they're down 4 models. Oh my god, great shots. Yeah, I think Lizardmen are doing a great job out on this side. Putting a lot of pressure on the air game and the Lothran Sea Guard and the Phoenix Guard. But Falcon and the Crabs on this side really ran train. What do you catch out here? Nicely played. Got the Big Boss and Wurzag, destroying the Vampire Fleet Captain of Vampires. Did get a summon off just in time. The Arachnarok's coming back, and things might start swinging a little bit more in the Greenskin and Lizardmen's favor. Got a chance. They got a chance here. Valensbar is in the favor of the High Elves and Vampire Coast, but the game is definitely not over yet. Just gotta get into this artillery and shut down the Bolt Throwers. Stone Trolls are still full HP. Might have been forgotten about, actually. Salamander Hunting Pack are wrecking stuff, but they might be getting dragged down by the handgun fire now. Goblins need to push up, get into the polearms, get into the Lothran Sea Guard. And on this side, looks like another net going down on the Arachnarok Spider. Lowers melee defense by 24. And is that another Van Geist Revenge? Looking like it. Oh my god. Hello, puppet. Destroyed. Greenskins lost so much infantry there. Vampire Fleet Captain up to 284 kills. Not a spell you see very much in 1v1, but in 2v2s that is hype as hell. And it completely destroyed its entire side of the battlefield. Arachnarok is broken, and that might have just broken the back of the Greenskins and Lizardmen. done a good job of lowering this Rotting Leviathan's HP, but... And there's no way to heal him up now, because the vampire fleet captain of the lore of vampires is not in the field anymore. No more Invocation of the Hex for that crab. Warzag's dead though. Stone Trolls are low. There's some routing on that side. Lizardmen certainly did better over here. But can Jedi Mazda Mundi carry them to victory? It's looking like they might be running out of steam, especially with the bolt throwers still protected on all sides. And the crabs. Crab people. Crab people. Walk like crab. Talk like people. They've destroyed all the infantry over here. And that got really brutal real fast. Big Boss is still alive. Salamander Hunting Pack are still alive. But I'm thinking they just don't have enough here to get into those bolt thrower crew and shut them down for good. Oh, he does have Invocation of the Hex still. How? Where's the vampire fleet captain? That's Deeps. I don't know how he cast that. Am I being dumb? I don't know how he cast Invocation of the Heck there. I'm really not sure. I don't think it really matters. And then either way, he got one. That's a big problem. If you're the Lizardmen and Greenskins, it's swinging the balance bar even more in the Vampire Pirates' favor. More shots coming from the bolt throwers. Stone Trolls have that missile resist, but it's still not going to save them. Even though he's not using bonus for large shots right now, I think it's going to be a mass rout pretty soon. And the Crab group, linchpin once again. Army losses kicks in, and that is going to be Falcon and Kabumatic moving on to the grand finals. Super well played there, and the Vangeist Revenge were the MVPs for sure. Silver and Guard front line held incredibly well, did exactly what they were supposed to do, pinned those Saurus and those Savage Orcs in place. Then Vangeist Revenge sent them to the Nether Realm with some beautiful broadsides on the length of the battle line. Gorgeous. Oh, that was Earthblood? Okay. Well, that explains it. I was pretty sure I saw the vampire fleet captain die. Like, how did that happen? Alright, so... Wait, Earthblood doesn't even work on undead troops either. Yeah, it literally doesn't work on them. So they didn't get any heal from that anyway. Yeah, Invocation of the Heck only works on undead troops and... Well, it actually doesn't work on Tomb Kings. I think... Lore of Life works on the Tomb Kings, though. So I think you can regrowth constructs, which is pretty dirty. And why you'll probably be seeing a lot of Tomb Kings get banned, because regrowth on a Necrosphinx or an Echemrian War Sphinx is disgusting. But yeah, I don't think Earthblood or regrowth can do anything to undead troops there. So, Jedi Master Mundi. Gorok got 72 kills. A lot of that on Chaff, trying to cut through to the bolt throwers. Skink Cohort did solid. Saurus Spears were, well, not really. I say that. They were really just kind of fodder. Saurus were okay, I guess. But really, I think the MVPs for the Lizardmen were the Salamander Hunting Pack, which did a great job of shooting up those deck droppers up top, and the Ancient Salamander, which did a great job shooting the Phoenix Guard and the Lothern Sea Guard. Pterodon Riders were solid as well, but I think you want to use them a little bit more aggressively. They will actually beat the crap out of deck droppers in melee, and deck droppers don't have Parthian shot. They can't fire in 360-degree arcs, so if you just run into melee with them, I don't think there was a lot of handgun fire that could have shot them up from below. Maybe some Lothern Sea Guard would have put some pressure on them, though. Backdoor Slider, like the build idea, but the biggest wrench in their plan there was Aranessa and the Crabs all getting bonus first large. That made that fight for the Arachnarok so much more difficult, because as he charged in, take what would normally be a great fight for him. I mean, he'll definitely dumpster a Rotting Leviathan given enough time. The issue was, it now had a bunch of bonus first large, and the Spearfisher's Net was lowering the melee defense of it by 24 as well. Then netting it in place, and then all the crabs and all that stuff is just beating up on him while the bolt throwers fire in. So, that attack kind of got stuffed, and Kabumatic did exactly what he set out to do. Be a wonderful meat shield in the front ranks while the bolt throwers fired in. And Falcon, with that Lore of Deeps caster, just shrekking Savage Orcs and Saurus with beautiful broadsides, while the cannons and deck droppers support from up top. So very well played. Falcon and Kabumatic will be moving on to the finals. And thank you very much to Jedi Mazda Mundi and Backdoor Slider. But we'll be moving on to our second series here with King of the Dead and Jonasny versus Aerocrastic. and PD the Power Dragon. So let's get into it. Yeah, some AoE magic like Sea Fang, Pendulum, definitely. I think the Vortex spells and the Wind spells have a lot more, well, synergy with your builds, but they just have an opportunity to do a lot more in 2v2s because, one, there's a lot more going on, it's harder to pay attention to spells, it's easier to get blobbed up, there's more bodies on the field. So you throw a Purple Sun into the middle of an enemy formation, you're much more likely to get value out of that spell because there's a lot more troops for it to hit. So yeah, I think that's one of the cool things about 2v2 is those kind of spells have a lot more role to play. Much more important role to play in that kind of scenario. But we might be seeing stuff like Winds of Death and Vangeist's Revenge today. Exactly because of what you just said. GG, guys. Fun to watch. King of the lag? God, I hope not. I hope not, man. We're apparently dealing with enough of that BS today. Let's not deal with any more. I'm gonna boot you the hell out of here. Get out of here, bro. Alright, Jonas and King of the Dead, please come join. Alt tab real quick here. And we'll get them in. MP Crossroads, MP Blue Retriever, and Source. Oh, that's just a terrible song. What the hell is that? Alright. So first map here is MP Crossroads. What is my favorite 40k faction? That's a very good question. I do like Chaos a lot. I think Thousand Suns and Night Lords are probably my two favorite CSM legions. I quite enjoy them. Thousand Suns aesthetic is just so badass, dude. Rubric of Ahriman, their lore, Magnus did nothing wrong. All that stuff is super, super fun. And obviously the Egyptian headdresses and everything is badass too. Rubric Marines, all that. Scarab Occult Terminators, they've got so much cool stuff. On the flip side, I do love me some Night Lords. I think maybe the best 40k novel I've ever read is the Night Lords trilogy by Aaron Dembski Bowden. Super, super good. So I'd say they might be up near at the top. Where are the boys? Oh, yikes. I have not played any tabletop whatsoever. So in terms of the Indominus box set and all that new content with 9th edition stuff coming out, I haven't paid a whole lot of attention to it yet. I did watch actually a battle report on Mini Wargaming. They just did their first one. I think it was Space Wolves Tyranids. I watched the beginning of that. Usually I just like looking at the armies because they all look so sexy and they do an amazing job painting. I don't know if they do all their painting themselves or if they do third-party stuff. I think that's kind of hit or miss on that. They sometimes send it out to third parties to get some shout outs and some super professional paint jobs done. But yeah, their production value and their armies are quite sexy. And they just did their first 9th edition battle report, I believe. Alright, let's get this thing underway. We got the peeps in, my dude. That picture of Manfred and Gelt is maybe my favorite thing ever. It's so obscene, but so ridiculous. Who's played The Last of Us 2? I believe that's where that meme's from. I actually haven't played the first one either. One game I'm super hyped for right now is Ghost of Tsushima, but I don't have a PlayStation, so I'm super sad it's not coming to PC. I'd be all over that. I would be all over Ghost of Tsushima right now. Yeah, I don't know if that lag is still an issue, guys, but I promise before the next stream, I will do quite a bit of digging and try to get that completely fixed forever. It shouldn't be happening to anyone, for anyone, but it might be something that's completely out of my control. I just have to do more research on it. And unfortunately, there's no easy way to do a test stream, which really kind of bothers me. You need to basically stream to a secondary channel, which is incredibly annoying to set up and do. To even test it, and I have no reason to assume that my streams aren't working properly until I actually stream and see that there's a problem. So we'll get it ironed out for next time. For now, hopefully most of you are not dealing with that issue. I certainly still am on my laptop, but a lot of you guys have said you're not having problems, so hopefully that is true for the vast majority of you, and my apologies if you are. But again, thank you for joining me. Having fun so far. We've had some good games, especially that second one, the Vangeist Revenge. That's a spell you don't get to see very often, and it's one of my favorite in the game. It's probably the most spectacular looking spell in the entirety of Warhammer 2. I mean, there's just something about seeing a massive ghost ship appear on the flank and completely obliterate everything. Got 300 kills that game. Crazy. Having some issues with the pick ban system right now. Alright, so let's see what they do here. One thing that we have noticed is that the faction with the more range killing power wins. So Dwarfs, Wood Elves won the first game, Vampire, Pirates, and High Elves won the second. Each time they invested more in the ranged firepower for killing single entity threats quickly, and it seemed to pay off quite a lot of dividends right there. So it will be interesting to see if some rush factions end up doing well. I think there are ways to rush a ranged focused opponent. For example, Bretonnia, not necessarily considered an incredibly strong 1v1 or necessarily even a 2v2 faction, but if you go really heavy on the air or the cav, that could have been a fantastic pick against all those Way Watchers. That could have been a great way to shut down all that play pretty quick, because they had a lot of bodies on the field, the Dwarfs did. They didn't have a lot of bonus versus large, so you can imagine full cav spam could have severely messed up all that range play. So it's all about the picks and all about the counters, and that's why we have the pick ban system, because it gives you a chance to utilize your faction strengths and get rid of some of your weaknesses by eliminating certain factions you don't want to match up against. Looks like it might be Vampire Counts and Skaven versus Norska and Dwarfs. Gonna get interesting here.
Fortune favors.
Well, we are using Aerocrastic's banner rules right now, so unfortunately we will not be seeing steam tanks, or at least no spam of them. The single entity units are capped. But that would be pretty hilarious. And honestly, what do you guys think about a tournament at some point, a completely silly tournament, where there's just no rules whatsoever, where it's just complete, no holds barred, do whatever you want? I think it might end up getting a little frustrating to watch in some battles, but it would make for some hilarious moments too, like full stacks of Hyro Titans and single entity ridiculousness. Might be fun to do at some point. I think it's been done once before. Legend might have done it a long time ago. I didn't watch that tournament. I don't know how it went. Well, Rafael Alvarelos, more Vortex spells. Yes, indeed. Thank you for the 5, my friend. Much appreciated. And the tank coming in again with the $10. My boy Arrow has his work cut out for him, but I'm rooting for him to go all the way. But we'll see right here. Thank you very much for the support. We shall see. Do we even know if Part 3 will be a thing? Yes, we do. Warhammer 3 is in development as we speak. And as I said earlier, I think will be announced this year. No rules tournament, you'd be down for that? Very cool, cheese. I'm trying to think what the filthiest thing you could possibly do in a 1v1 would be. With no rules whatsoever. I'm not sure going full steam tank would even be like remotely the best thing. It wouldn't be bad. But say you ran into 9 Shaggoths, you're gonna lose that every single time. You might lose 1 Shaggoth on the way in, maybe. But after that, your steam tanks are super done. It just puts 1 on each, and that should be super boring to watch. It'd be really boring to watch. Oh, Last of Us 3, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Dude, there's been so much backlash towards Last of Us 2. I don't know if they're gonna want to do that anytime soon. It seems like the gameplay and everything is completely, like, solid and fun. It's just more the issue with story arc, and making you play a character you don't want to play as, that no one wants to play as. That a lot of the story was kind of ham-fisted and a bit, subverting expectations. Which, as we know from Game of Thrones and Star Wars, doesn't work very well. Well, there are lots of great ways to subvert expectations, but that phrase is a very loaded phrase at this point because it's been a part of some of the worst cinema and television we've seen in recent years. Very closely tied to The Last Jedi and very closely tied to Game of Thrones Season 8. I'm actually thinking about doing a retrospective on Game of Thrones Season 8 and just talking about, like, looking back on it. I will tell you right now, it kind of killed my desire to go back and watch that series, which is so sad because the first 4 seasons are incredible television. Season 5 is good television. Season 6 and Season 7 are solid television, but certainly has some iffy moments. And then Season 8 was just like they just mailed it in, bro. D&D just completely mailed that ish in. Feels bad, man. They could not have gotten out of that series quicker. They just completely forgot that character development was important. They were just like, oh yeah, we hinted that Daenerys would be crazy seasons ago. And then like they do these spurious connections, and of course they shoved all these highlights of previous seasons down your throat when they make no sense out of context. They're like, see, we told you, but no you didn't. No you didn't. The character development for that entire story arc was horrendous. So bad. God, that season. I've never been more mad watching television in my life. And what's so sad is it's such a fall from grace, too. It's such a good show. Such a damn good show. I think Charles Dance as Tywin Lannister is one of the best characters in television history. So incredibly well acted. If you go back and watch the interview, or not the interview, but the conversation he has with Jaime when he's skinning the stag in the tent in season 1, like that set the bar so high. Incredible dialogue, incredible acting, and he's actually skinning a real stag too. Talk about immersion. They skirted out of that one real fast. Yes, they did. Yeah, they wanted out of that, dude. And what's kind of funny about it is they moved on to Star Wars and then immediately, I don't know if it was creative differences or what, but they're no longer in control of any Star Wars IP either. I don't know if they got fired or if they decided to leave that role, but they're not working on anything like that now. And one thing that kind of bothers me is that a lot of people call D&D hacks and stuff. Like, no, they're obviously very talented. They strung together some of the best television series of all time. They did an amazing job for 5.5, 6 seasons. Certainly, GRM's writing helped a ton. His input helped them a ton, but that's true of any writer ever. not done in a vacuum. It's done with the help from people who made the source material in the first place. But they just stopped caring, I think is the best way to say it. Really sad to watch. Anyway, we're playing Warhammer 2 right now. And we've got Aerocrastic, and we've got PD the Power Dragon on one side against King of the Dead and Jonas Nee. Jonas is a long time competitive player, but he's not played much Warhammer 2 at all. I think he's only played in 5 or 6 multiplayer games ever. So King of the Dead will be his partner. He will show him the ropes, and we'll see who can take the second series. Alright, so Vampire Counts and Skaven versus Dwarfs and Norska. I think we're going to see a lot of Dwarfs today. I really think they're one of the strongest 2v2 factions in the game. So interesting. So interesting to see that they're okay in 1v1s. They're solid. They're not amazing. But to see them so powerful in 2v2s. But I think that's just a testament to their playstyle in a nutshell. Oh, stream looks good for me now. Stream looks great for me now. Which is good. Hopefully it does for you as well. I think that lag is gone for the moment anyway. So we've got Graveguard as a front line here for Aerocrastic, a Blood Dragon Vampire Lord. I do not see Wind of Death, which I'm a little bit sad about. A Terror of the Night up top. He does have Invocation from the Heck and Raise Dead. Honestly, I think Wind of Death is very much worth investing in a 2v2 scenario. Do have some Poison Wind Mortars. You have a lot of Skaven weapon teams, Warlock Jezzails, 2 of those each. Not even, but yeah, 3 Jezzails actually. So Skaven are going for the ranged firepower here, but they do have some meat shields and some infantry as well, some Death Runners. Ooh, now that could get interesting. Warlock Engineer and Lord Skrulk with the Roboticus and the Plague of Corruption, or Rod of Corruption. Blood Knights out on the flanks, so kind of a Blood Knight themed build. And that is the army for the Skaven and Vampire Counts. See if we can, there we go. He drops it and the other guy's like, oh god. I love that animation, that's so hilarious. Like, oh she, son. We're gonna blow up and die, playa. Like, no thanks, don't hand that to me, I don't want it. I don't blame him, I don't think those gas masks would help too much. Melt your skin right off. So, for King of the Dead and Jonas Nee, we got Marauders in the front ranks. Dwarf Warriors in a secondary line. A Runesmith, Ungrim Iron Fist with the Axe of Dargo and Red Ruin. So we can drop his melee defense, but get huge steroid buffs and actually get his weapon strength all the way up to 1,000. Question is, can he actually get on target? We shall see. Excuse me. Wolfric the Wanderer on a chariot. Shaman, Sorcerer, Lore of Fire, Burning Head, and Fireball. Skinwolves, Slayers, Thunderers, Cannons, Trollhammer, Torpedoes, and a War Mammoth on a War Shrine. Now this is one of the weirdest changes. I don't know what Creative Assembly was thinking. This thing costs the same as a War Mammoth, but it's better in every way. It has almost the exact same stats. The only thing it loses is the range attack, but it's irrelevant. And it gets this great buff where you get Favor of the Ruinous Powers for +10 leadership, and you get Giver of Glory for melee attack and leadership as well. So why would you not bring the War Shrine when you could just... I mean, why would you bring a regular War Mammoth when you could bring the War Shrine? Doesn't make any sense. Oh, there's a lot of Vanguard stuff in the back. They cost the exact same. I have no idea what CA was thinking on that front. I don't know if it's an oversight or what, but anyway. There are some Norscan Warhounds in the back of the map. Looking like Aerocrastic will try to catch them out. I don't know if he's going to be able to. Obviously, MP Crossroads is a massive map. Tons of room to maneuver. No defining geographical characteristics whatsoever. This is basically Nemo Ciceno from Rome 2, if you remember that. Just completely flat. And that means that artillery and ranged builds can be very powerful here because there's no shot blockers whatsoever. A lot of ground to cover in between both armies, too. Over here, we got Norscan Warhounds moving out to the side. Fell Bats are chasing after them. And looking like Warhound's getting all the way around the flank. He might catch this one. Better be careful there. Yeah, Fell Bats are so fast, 110 speed. And they are going to catch him for sure. They're going to rout. Well, we'll see. Might have the line. Oh, he might have the line here. Depends where they route to. If they route directly towards the white line, he's going to be in trouble. If he turns at all. Alright, he's just going to... Oh! He's actually going to be fine, I think. They're going to get away. Wow. That is a hot pursuit moment right there. We got Blood Knights out on this side, moving into the Norscan Warhounds, and it's very clear what King of the Dead is trying to pull off. Obviously, he wants to go straight for those natty Bubos and the rest of the Giselles. Get rid of the weapon teams, and you're going to be in great shape to win this game. Yeah, this Warhound will be done, unless Arrow does not pursue, which he has. Yeah, that unit is done. So, not a massive deal, especially in a 2v2. Just 450 gold. Not much of a swing when you're talking about two full armies on each side. Cannon fire already arcing towards the Warplock Giselles. And we are going to be using debug cam in this game because it is going to be very spread out. And I'm actually kind of surprised to see how tightly packed this Dwarf and Norscan Phalanx is set up. Normally you want to have a bit more space, bit more layered defense, but might not be the worst thing here against the Vampire accounts. Force them into a big blob and then just nuke it with the Troll Hammers and some nasty charges from the War Mammoth. So I don't think these Giselles will be online for too long. Cannons should be able to snipe them out relatively quick if you keep sight of them. Norscan Warhounds should be able to afford that vision for sure. But the Poison Wind Mortars are going to be so damn good here, because they will wreck infantry, and all they need is one shot, and you basically get Spirit Leeched. I mean, deals a lot of damage even when it only lands one single shot, and obviously there's a lot more than one shot coming in. Giselle is focusing fire on the Marauder front line and the Dwarfs for now. These cannons are going to be a big problem. And then aggressive on the left flank. Vampire counts and Skaven moving up here. And it's looking like we got Warp Lightning and the Corrosive DOT on that Warlock Engineer. Great focus fire coming in from both sides. I'd say right now the Dwarfs are... They have the advantage because their cannons aren't going down at all. And we're looking at a couple Poison Wind Mortars and a couple Giselles that are relatively low. Might round off soon. We'll see who forces who into the engagement first. There's not a lot of wind spells for nuking an enemy battle line. Not a lot of vortexes either. Burning Head is the only one I can think of right now. So we'll see if Burning Head can burn away the impurities of the Undead and the Thagaraki. Some good shots coming from the Giselles on the cannons now. Warshrine Mammoth is untouched so far. Trollhammer is dropping pretty quick too. And yeah, that Zombie Dragon wants to be very careful around those bad boys. We've seen that in action before. Marauder line is pushing up. And looking like they want to go fisticuffs. But I guess Skaven are comfortable doing what they're doing, because it looks like Dwarfs and the Norskins are saying, okay, we're done with this. Yeah, the Trollhammers are starting to drop. Cannons have not been focused down, but Norska and the Dwarfs want to get into melee now. Not something you see every day. Vampire counts forcing an opponent towards them. Skinwolf's going to get a charge into the Skaven Slaves. That will rout very quickly after. Big charge coming in. Going to rack up about 15 kills off the charge alone. Warshrine? I don't know where he wants to go. Maybe into the Graveguard. But obviously, got to be very cognizant of where that Zombie Dragon and the Warplock Giselles are. That combination could get pretty nasty for him pretty quick. Gotta be careful here, though. Here come the Fell Bats. Gonna put a lot of pressure on the back line. King of the Dead will notice it, move his Skinwolves backwards. He can deal with the Fell Bats relatively easily with them. I need one or two more units back here just to protect them a little bit further. On the left flank, Marauders and Dwarfs doing a good job clearing out the chaff early. Then can maybe look to push through. Blood Knights and Zombie Dragon have not been committed at all. The cannons are still online, 40 kills and 53 so far, so definitely making a large impact here. The Mammoth, the Skinwolves, and the Blood Knights all fighting it out, and this will be a clear victory for the Norskins. I mean, a Mammoth is an amazing tool for dealing with Blood Knights. They died so quick. Invocation of the Heck will not save them here. I think they might crumble out. Zombie Dragon lands. The Blood Dragon Lord is into melee, and with Heart Piercing and all his debuffs, that War Shrine gonna be hurting pretty soon if he's able to get some good attacks in. They're still alive for now. We'll see if they crumble out. Poison Wind Mortars up to 16 kills. Kind of surprised it's so low. Normally they do a lot more damage than that. Warlock Engineer draining the life of Dwarf Warriors for now. Plague Monks coming in. It's a summon from Lord's Growth going after the Thunderers, shutting down the range play, and Ungrim might look to push forward. Here come the Chariots, though. There's not a lot of range firepower left for the Skaven. A lot of models are already dead, which means their damage mitigation, or the damage output is going to be mitigated quite a bit. And they're only at half or a quarter ammo left. Big Burning Head coming in too. Deftly dodged by Aerocrastic. And Ungrim is holding down the back line while the Plague Monks run over the cannons and try to deal damage to them. Poison Mortars up to 31 kills now. Warp Lightning raining down from the heavens. That deals some very good damage to those Dwarf Warriors. And Wolfric and the Shaman Sorcerer are fine for now, but Seismic Snare has pinned them both in place. Nicely played from PD, the Power Dragon. Now the Blood Knight's going to get a full surround off. If they can surround Wolfric here, that could be huge. But they see the Trollhammer torpedoes. They realize if they commit, then the Trollhammers can blow them up. So he's going to go for that target instead and leave Wolfric alive. We'll see if that pays off or not. Mammoth is starting to get beat up bad as the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord dry humps him into submission. As we're swinging a little bit in the favor of the Vampire Counts and Skaven, but we'll see if that continues. And we got some great shots coming in from Warplucker Sales still. 10 kills, 11 kills, shooting down the Troll Hammers for now, and Ungrim Iron Fist, actually. And the Blood Knights weren't able to get into the Troll Hammers here. Thunder's getting chased off by the Fell Bats. And Aerocrastic and the Skaven are doing a great job right now. They've swung this entire flank. They're going to get a full surround off on the Mammoth, and they might just be able to drag it down. There's not a lot of support for this engagement here. When we talk about the Dwarfs and Norska, maybe a Burning Head can clear out all this chaff, though. Nicely placed by King of the Dead. Gonna burn away the impurities of the Skaven Vampire Lord pulling away. Mammoth is still alive for now. But the Blood Knights are on the hunt, and they are feasting. They are into the cannon crew. The Plague Monks are shutting down these cannons as well. And the big question I have for Norska and the Dwarfs is, how do you deal with that zombie dragon? When there are Blood Knights still running free in your back line too, that's going to be difficult. Warlock Engineers draining the life of all these units in an AoE right now. Seismic Snare will prevent these units from pulling away. And Wolfric does not want to be dueling a Blood Dragon Lord when he's on that chariot. That's a bonus versus infantry. Nice C-Fang coming in. Up to 121 kills now. Death Runners are free. Oh, his cannons are super dead. Nicely played from PD Dragon. He's going to shut them down for good. Blood Knights are getting beaten up on by Ungrim Iron Fist. Red Ruin popped. 753 weapon strength. They won't be around for too long, but Arrow might notice in time and pull out. Still, balance bar well in favor of the Skaven and Vampire counts. Mammoth is not long for this world. To be fair, the Blood Dragon Lord and Rune of Wrath and Ruin are really beating up on him too. He's down to 2800 HP. Death Runners are free. Both of them are free. And they've been, well, they're about to be beastly. They're about to sunder the armor of all these troops. And yeah, you can get your Mammoth in there, but when the Zombie Dragon lands on your head, that Mammoth is not going to want to fight anymore. 35 armor makes him super weak in a drag-it-out fight, even with Death Runners. And they'll die very quickly, but it's more the support that I'm worried about for Norska and for the Dwarfs. Got a big old fight, and we get some big old cinematics to go alongside it. Yeah, Arrow's gonna pull away from that engagement for now. Gonna let his chaff do the work. Skin Wolves are about to rout. Blood Knights are about to crumble too. But the Death Runners are just feasting on all this range play, and when you lose the cannons, you lose your ability to deal with the Blood Knights and the Zombie Dragon effectively. Wolfric has done amazingly well, though. He's going to do even better here as he runs over Death Runners. But Ungrim is right there to support. Another C-Fang coming in. Oh, that was so cool. The ships are having a great day today. Vangeist's Revenge and C-Fang both doing a lot. But yeah, Skaven and Vampire counts proved to be a little bit too much in that game. And it did seem like they forced the Dwarfs and Norska to abandon the box and push forward. And once they did so, kind of got spread out, and it was easier pickings for the Blood Knights and for the Blood Dragon Lord to come in and take out the high value threats. So Wulfric and the Shaman Sorcerer were both used very well. 265 kills and 166. Very impressive. With the Norscan Warhound play, they didn't get a whole lot of value. Arrow did a great job of zoning them out with the Blood Knights and with the Fell Bats. And if you can't get into the Poison Wind Warders, remember, because each time they land one volley, one shot, it's a Spirit Leech going the way of that unit. So if you can't kill off the full unit, they're still dealing a lot of damage to your line. That forced the Dwarfs and Norsca to push forward. That meant the Mammoth and Wulfric and the Shaman Sorcerer kind of had to overextend. And then it was a full surround off with Chaff, the Blood Knights with the Blood Dragon Lord, and we saw not a lot of kills from him, but a lot of value generated by beating up on the War Mammoth and by beating up on Wulfric and the Chariots. Blood Knights were awesome. 2 chevrons, 1 chevron, and the Fell Bat zoned out a lot of the high value threats. I was very impressed with PD the Power Dragon there too. Poison Wind Mortar play was solid. Picked the right targets, even though they didn't get a lot of kills, they did a lot of damage. Jezzail's 4 of them is always going to be a big threat, and this is pretty much what you're going to be seeing in 2v2 scenarios, man. A lot of bodies, a lot of chaff, a lot of meat shields. Throw them into the meat grinder, force your opponent to go through layers and layers of that defense. All the time, you be shooting. And these guys certainly paid for themselves for sure. 90 people sharpshooters as well, 21 kills on them. More summons from the Plague Monks, and the drain from the Warlock Engineer all proved to be a little bit too much. So I like the synergy there. I like it a lot. Aerocrastic goes for solid front line, good support on the flanks. The Power Dragon goes for all the range play, Death Runners to deal with the dwarf units and with the cannons and artillery. And from there, it was game, set, match, but pretty solid one. And I'm thinking that King of the Dead and Jonas Nee can bring this back in game 2. Got some good kills on the Slayers. Got some good kills on the cannons. Warhammer's torpedoes got focused down very well by the Skaven, though. And they didn't make as much of an impact as I'm sure the dwarves would have liked. Yeah, Burning Head and Sea Fang both very useful in that battle, no question about it. Kind of surprised to see not so many Vortexes, though. Not so many wind spells. There were none on the Skaven and Vampire Count side of the field. So they're going into the pick and ban system now. We're going to MP Blue Reach River for game 2. And we'll see how this goes. I'd like to see some Beastmen today. I think that'd be fun. Ah, Beastmen are banned. Interesting. Well, I think they left the box because they realized Norsco is pushing up, and I don't know if I assume they're communicating. I assume they're in Discord somewhere talking about what their plan and strategies are. But Norsco pushed up, and if dwarves don't move up to support, then things are going to get bad. And the Skaven range play kind of forced them to move up, but honestly, I don't know if they really were forced. I think maybe staying in that box would have been better for them. Because it meant the Trollhammer torpedoes and some of the other units had to move up and got isolated and run down by the Fell Bats and the Blood Knights. But yeah, I'm not sure they had to. They still had their cannons online, and those are great for killing Poison Wind Mortars and for killing Jezzail, so neither of them were hurt. I think it might have been better for them if they just stayed compact and tight and kind of took it. And yeah, they were taking some damage for sure, but so were the Skaven. I wasn't really sure who was winning that range fight for quite some time. So looking like we might. Might be Tomb Kings and High Elves on one side. I'm not sure if Arrow's playing Vampire Counts again. Yeah, Arrow's not picked yet. Okay, so he's going Chaos. Interesting. This could be fun. So Blue Ridge River is a gigantic map, and it's characterized by 2 pretty interesting, well, 3. And you can see them on the map here. Trees all the way on one side, trees all the way on the other side. There's a lot of ambush potential, a lot of crab claw deployment where you overload one flank with an ambush wing and swing in from the side. Then there's a crater in the middle. that blocks shots, and it also prevents you from moving to the center of the map. Very large map, so pretty good for artillery, but there's also a lot of cover from cannon fire as well. And you can move your entire unit, entire army really, through the trees and kind of hide out on the back end of the ravine, and it can make it kind of difficult for your opponent to shoot you. So we'll see how players utilize it in this one, but it's definitely an interesting map. Don't see it too often in 1v1s, but it's so large that in 2v2s, I think a pretty cool one. A lot of interesting design features on this map for sure. So it's going to be Chaos, Vampirates, Tomb Kings, and High Elves. So if you're thinking about Chaos and Vampirates together, likely going to be focusing on the monsters and maybe some Hell Cannon play if you're Chaos. Certainly going to be seeing some infantry there too, but don't want to invest too much in that, I think. I think you're going to want to focus more on the mobility, and that's what Arrow's good for. Like we saw last game, Blood Knights and Zombie Dragon up top. Might see something like a Chaos Dragon or Kolek, and some Chaos Knights backing them up there too. Maybe some Dragon Ogre Shagas. And then meanwhile, the meat shields will be blocking charges and being annoying while the handguns and cannon fire arcs in. The Tomb Kings, who I think are one of the best 2v2 factions in the game, I think they're also one of the more solid 1v1 factions in the game as well. They are super good here because there's a lot you can do. You can go like full Ushabti spam. You can shoot people down from long range with your Casket of Souls play, with DJ Katsep and the Roomba of Doom and all that good stuff. Or you can go for pure constructs. You could go for Cambrian War Sphinx, Necro Sphinx, and just out-duel the Shagas, out-duel the big monsters on the other side. High Elves, meanwhile, they'll probably be providing that front line. There will be meat shields for the Tomb Kings for sure. Skeleton Spearmen and Skelly Boys and all that. But I think for the High Elves, Silver and Guard might be a good choice here as well. It might be solid here as well. Bolt Throwers, I'm sure we'll be seeing too. Yeah, I agree. I think both these teams right now are very well suited for countering each other and very good in 2v2 scenarios. So I think these guys did their homework. I do not think we're doing mirror teams. I don't think we're doing 2 Tomb Kings or 2 High Elves on the same team. At least no one's done it yet. I'm not sure it's explicitly against the rules though. Yeah, double Shaggoth plus Lance Knights would certainly not be bad. But do you need it? Do you need Lance Knights against Tomb Kings and High Elves? We'll see. Just depends what they go for, and there's a lot all 4 players can go for. I think Vampirates are really the only quote-unquote one-trick pony, but even then, they do that one trick so well, it's not like you can stop it. Alright. Where is Trench Craventail? That's such a good question. I've not seen the poor dude in years. I don't think I've uploaded a replay with him in probably more than a year. So I might have to rectify that at some point. I mean, it's not like he's good. Let's just be honest. About as generic as a Skaven character could possibly get. Can you imagine if we got a gore scenario with him where Gracier Thinkwall literally never came? Because of Trench Craventail? That would be a sad day. Thankfully, it's not happening. Gracier Thinkwall is confirmed for Warhammer 3, so they have already said he is in the plans. Oh man, that would have been brutal. Yeah. Well, it's not even the same role. You pick Tretch because he's really cheap and survivable and has high melee defense, and you just kind of let him... be annoying and sit there and not die. Nickage can die, so it's not quite the same role, but I agree, there is no reason to pick Tretch, really. Because there are a million better choices. Ikit Claw is always going to be better. Snickage is almost always going to be better. But it is technically a different role. Snickage is meant to isolate a high-value threat and just completely blend it in seconds. Stretch just says, hey, I've got a stupid-ass stick and you can't hit me. I've got, like, a bunch of melee defense. LMAO. Why is Gorst? I've been wondering the same thing for eons, my friend. Why does he exist? I mean, to be fair, it's Creative Assembly's first DLC with this game ever. Grim in the Grave was the very first. Or, no, his first Lord pack. It wasn't, I guess Beastmen came before them, didn't they? They came out, I think, in June or July? And, I think Grim and Grave came out in September of 2016. But, yikes. Let's just say the quality has ascended a bit since those fateful days. Alright, so this is Blue Ridge River. Got ambush force on both sides here. I like this map a lot, actually. It kind of reminds me of Shogun 2. You guys remember back in those days, there was the whole... Well, maps were symmetrical on both sides. So what you'd often see is a situation where the map is quite literally symmetrical and players do the same thing to each other, but on the other side. So I would Vanguard wing my cavalry over here. He would Vanguard wing his cavalry over here. He'd deploy here, I deploy here, and we just kind of swing and completely shift the battle lines. It gets really interesting. I like symmetrical maps, especially ones that have a lot of defining geographical characteristics. I've always been down for that. I think that's maybe going to be one of the saving graces of Troy, which I'm not incredibly hyped for right now. I don't think it's going to be a terrible game, but the maps themselves could end up, from what we've seen in some of the gameplay so far, actually look pretty cool. And there's a lot going on the maps themselves. I think it's one of the weaker parts of Warhammer 2. Siege maps and open field maps are a little bit boring. Very rolling plain and hilly and not a whole lot going on. This one is more of a callback to Shogun 2, where it has some actual characteristics that make it interesting, which I like. Alright, so let's go over army compositions here. There's some stuff right here. I'm not going to talk about it, but you see it. For Chaos and the Vampires, carronades, as you would expect. Looking like 3 of them. Handguns in the front ranks for now, but I imagine they'll be moving shortly. Collect Sun Eater. Tsundere Sun Eater. The cutest little boy. My god, 540 weapon strength. He is a behemoth. Chaos Warriors. Mirror Guard. A lot of Chaos. So he's going full infantry. Yeah, full infantry here. Okay. I think that makes some sense. It's not what I was expecting. I was expecting to see the mobility game from him. To be fair, he has some of that as well. 3 Marauder Horsemasters and Kolek, but he is going to bring the heavy infantry here. So they've gone like full infantry spam pretty much. They don't have a lot of cavalry at all. Just gonna face tank the charge that comes in. But will there be a charge? It's Tomb Kings and High Elves on the other side. They might be forced to attack. Yeah, Marauder Horsemasters in the back. Luther Harkin on his Terrorgeist. Terrorgoosen over on that side. Warhounds. Let's see if there's any big monsters with the vampires. Doesn't look like it. Just a handgun line. To be expected. Luther, obviously a monster up top on that Deathstreak Terrorgeist. 6,000 HP, double regen, and he can shoot in melee too, so it's pretty brutal. On the other side, it's going to be a front rank of Skeleton Warriors for King of the Dead. Got a Tomb Prince, some Chosen of the Gods Ushabti, Bolt Throwers, Necropolis Knights with not halberds. These are just the regular ones, so he's going for the pure stat line over the anti-large specialization. Look at that stat line. It's actually insane. 40 and 41 poison, which is effectively a 20% ward save in melee. 61 weapon strength with AP. 52 charge bonus. True monstrous cavalry. Definitely not bad. 110 armor. They've gotten buffed and buffed and buffed. We've got Tyrion on foot. And a life mage. Not quite the cutie the archmage is, but we'll take it. Tyrion next to her, protecting her. We've got Grand Hierophant Katep. Yep, we are getting the Roomba of Doom here, boys. DJ Tiesto coming in with them sick beats. 959 missile strength. Dropping the hammer from downtown. Look for this thing to get a lot of kills this battle, especially with all that infantry on the other side of the battlefield, and lots of high value infantry as well. Shout out to Great Bows, Swordmasters, Archers, Lyrian Reavers, and it's looking like those are the builds. So, for the Tomb Kings, they're going to want to sit back, and they might not be able to, actually. Cannons, the Carronades, might force them to move up at least a little bit more to trade some fire. Cannons are better than Ushabti in a pure artillery duel, but the Casket of Souls might be able to swing a little bit, and of course he does have bolt throwers too, so they might have enough range firepower to force Chaos and the Vampires to move to them. And if they deploy right here, it'll make it awkward to move to them, because it will actually split the attack and force the attackers to go around. Which means they don't have a unified front, which can be a good thing and can be a very bad thing. We'll see how that goes. Of course, the Vanguard stuff in the back of the map as well. Gonna get interesting for sure. I like these builds from both teams. I think this will be a close one. Yeah, full Beastmen and full Gobbo Vanguard together. That's what I'm talking about. We need the memes, man. We need the memes. Yeah, Luther Harkin's gonna be a problem for sure. How do you deal with him here? How do you deal with him with this build? Ushabti are really not super efficient for taking down a flying Terragusen like Luther Harkin is. If he lands, the Necropolis Knights could surround him and really mess him up, but he might be able to sit up top and just shoot stuff for days and just goon out the isolated target. So we'll see. Looking like they want to keep a compact formation here. They are moving up now. Imagine they'll probably deploy something like this. And honestly, this could be a great way to like force your range play up and kind of hide in a pocket here where they can't attack from the front. See if that works out for them, but it kind of does protect you. And here comes Grand Hierophant Katep getting rid of some of the dick hands so far. He's got plenty of ammo on that Casket of Souls, so I don't think he's going to be too worried about shooting them. As soon as the Chosen Chaos Warriors are in range, that is what he will switch his attention to. Yeah, this is a powerful rush army from Arrow, man. Very powerful rush army. So far, I would say the Vampires are definitely getting the better. But of course, they do have cannons, which are much longer range than the artillery of the High Elves and Tomb Kings, so that is to be expected. It is a 2,300 troops for Chaos and Vampires, 1,700 for the Tomb Kings and High Elves. And the music's getting me hyped, baby. Let's get it poppin', playa. Boop, 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 boop. Casket of Souls will destroy your family. Oh my god. Yeah, counter boundary with the Casket can work pretty well. Carronades cannot survive that for too much longer. Comes Luther. The Nahakar horsemen, or skeleton horsemen rather, were found out. Chaos Warriors chasing after him. And I think in maybe 3 or 4 volleys, that Carronade's gonna be dead. So yeah, I think Chaos and the Vampires will have to move up. But to be fair, they're doing a lot of damage themselves. And actually, looks like Katep's down to half HP, which not really a big deal, as long as he's not gooned out by Luther Harkin, but that's the big problem, right? Like, how do you protect him? Gotta keep those Necropolis Knights nearby, that's the only way. So Skelly Boys are running away from all this mobility. Kolek and the Horsemasters moving up to the trees, so they'll have a lot of protection as they move silently through the woods. Bolt throwers in range of the Carronades now. Oh my god. Oh yeah, you know what? Here we go. Forgot about this. We talked about it earlier, actually. Tomb Kings can be healed by Lore of Life, which is filthy. So Katep, he's gonna sit in the pocket and just get regrowth all day. That's gross. That's really gross. Now, there are no real big, scary constructs for the Tomb King, so there won't be healing for that, but I mean, healing Katep is worth it. He can deal so much damage when he's given time to fire. They're just investing everything in winning the artillery duel. Like the play from Arrow here. Move into the woods, a lot of cover, and he's gonna just force the flank. Instead of going up the center, they're swinging all the way to one side, and that'll force the High Elves and Tomb Kings to retreat to face them. But then they'll be firing into the woods, where their range play will be a lot less effective. So, liking the positioning from Chaos and Vampire so far. We'll see how that goes. Bolt throwers are going to win the artillery duel. These trees are not helping them out, unfortunately, but it's not helping the cannons out either, so. And if you're the Chosen of the Gods or Ushabti, probably just want to pull all the way back now. Chaos is going to come here with a fury of 1,000 suns. There will be no mercy, no respite, charging right in, and they're going to swarm on any mother trucker in a blue uniform, just coming in, man. We got Mirror Guard, we got Chaos Warriors, we got Chosen, and they're gonna just completely run over Skelly Boys. But Swordmasters are waiting there too. Gotta be careful to not get hit by an Arc Lightning from Kolek or charge in the face, but if he can get them on top of the Chosen or the Mirror Guard, he will blend them in seconds. So Jonas Nee gotta position that Swordmaster appropriately. Wants to get some value out of them. But he certainly has the opportunity to do so here. Ew, that was an ugly-ass shot from the Roomba of Doom. Unimpressive. Zombie deckhands are going to melt as they charge in. Don't think this unit will even make it into melee. Yeah, cannons are donezo. They're all done. Vampire Coast and Chaos realize it. They're going to commit here soon. They can't sit back and wait for the Chosen of the Gods and Katep to keep blasting them apart. So far, Katep's not actually been super impressive in terms of killing the infantry. He got some good shots on the cannons, but not really super impressive. But let's hide the foliage here so we get a better look at what's going on. Mirror Guard, Chaos Warriors, there we go. Lightning coming down on the Swordmasters, didn't do too much damage. But remember, they are pretty tightly packed, so those kind of spells can hurt a lot. I have not seen Chaos and their spell selection. I've not seen a caster at all. Might not have one. There, no, he does. He does. Got a Chaos Sorcerer, Lore of Fire, with Burning Head and Cascading Fire Cloak. Another shot coming in. This time on the handguns. My god. Tap, you better start landing some shots, my dude. Not impressive so far. Chaos Warriors into melee. Expect them to put a lot of pressure in the center here. Don't think there's no Tomb Guard whatsoever, so they're not gonna do so well. But backed up by Swordmasters, might be able to turn that. Don't like that the Swordmasters are on the flank though. They need to be in the center or ready to fight over here. Burning Head going through the Swordmasters. This is what I was afraid of. No real meat shield out front. Swordmasters did not get a good engagement at all, and they're going to tear a route almost immediately. Ouch. Gotta make sure you get them in on the Chosen and in on the Chaos Warriors. They're running the wrong way too. The Necropolis Knights coming in. Kolek backing up. Burning Head got so much value there. Just carved right through and even hit the Lyran Reaver Archers too. Mirror Guard charging into the Skeleton Horsemen. They'll get some physical resist and pull out. And the Necropolis Knights waiting. Now you can charge in with them. It's not bad at all. And in fact, he is going to do so. Cycle charge though. Don't need to leave them in melee for too long. Cannons charging into melee because their actual cannons are dead. So the crew's like, screw it. Bolt throwers tied down by Chaos Warriors on the flank. And now Katep should start doing some damage. The closer you get to him, the closer you get to the Roomba of Doom, the more damage that thing will do. Got some archers firing in on the Chaos Warriors who routed pretty quick. Period on foot, an interesting choice for sure, but maybe we'll get some sync kills as well. And I like this. The Tomb Kings are rolling back their flank. They're creating a box, a solid line, and cycle charging those Mirror Guard. Cascading Fire Cloak will make them a little bit tankier than normal, but definitely able to still cycle charge that too. Tyrion, you're in the wrong neighborhood, mother trucker. Not really wanting to be here now. Does have his Heart of Avalorn though. But fighting Kolek is a scary proposition. Don't know how many attacks he'll actually be able to land. We got another Arc Lightning coming in from Kolek, I believe. Definitely dodged by Jonas Need. Well done. It was very nicely played. And they're fighting the target they want to. Chaos Warriors for sure. Luther can't really goon in yet. There's too much stuff supporting in the rear. Doesn't want to go for the Life Mage because the Necropolis Knights and the... Well, he might go for the Life Mage now. Ushabti Great Bows would shoot into him. Tyrion is solo pushing back Kolek, who's pretty low. Even though he's been in the woods, the focus fire has hurt him a lot. Nice Sunfang coming in. Kelly Boys are going to deal with the Horsemasters in melee, and Ushabti summon on the handgun line. And there's not enough support back here. Very nicely played from the High Elves and Tomb Kings. They're gonna get in on this big box of handguns. There is some Chaos Warriors nearby, but a lot of Skeleton Horsemen, Ushabti Summon, and all this might be able to deal with quite a few of these handgun troops back here. Chaos and Vampire Pirates are in the back foot right now. King of the Dead and the High Elves doing a great job protecting their back. Looks like Luther needs to pop Invocation of the Heck. He's running, getting run down by the Necro Serpents, and they're doing a great job protecting everything in the rear here. Mirror Guard are going to Fear Route. No, they can't Fear Route, they're immune to Psych, but they'll route relatively soon. Swordmasters are blending stuff in the front ranks as Chosen pour through the gaps in the battle line. Kolek is still alive, but maybe not for very long. There we go. That just got 15 kills. Shrekking these Chaos Warriors and Vampire Pirate Infantry. And if they can shut down Kolek here, if Kolek dies, this might be in the bag for the Tomb Kings and High Elves, who have played this incredibly well so far. Handguns doing a great job layering their focus fire, getting rid of the Ushabti Summon. Luther with a breath attack on top of the infantry, but Swordmasters are monstrous in the center, wrecking these Chosen, wrecking these Chaos Warriors, and even though they have gotten a lot into the back line now, it might be a little bit too little too late. See, the Tep is still safe, and if you're Luther Harkin, this is the target you want to go for now. Get rid of him. He's starting to do too much damage. And Petra's Incantation of Righteous Smiting, giving him all that missile damage, gonna be a big problem for sure. Archers are beginning to rout. Chosen are an issue, but these Necropolis Knights, the non-Halberd version, seem to be the right pick. I think he might have known Chaos would invest heavily in infantry. And this is the unit you want if you want to deal with that poison ward save. Really effective in mitigating the damage output of the Chosen. And the Swordmaster's get a full surround off on the Vampire Fleet Captain. Over here, Luther and Kolek fighting. But Kolek's got 800 HP left, and he's not getting any heals this game. Luther's got to be pretty close to the healing cap now, I would think. Yeah, about 1,000 HP left. Yeah, balance bar swinging in the favor of the Tomb Kings and High Elf so far. And Chaos and the Vampires push forward and get rid of Katep. Another Kolek Lightning dropping down. This one's not going to be a flush shot. Kolek is up to 63 kills so far. He needs to hide. He's the only thing even keeping the bounce bar the way it is, and it's still not looking great for them. A little bit bleak for Chaos and the Vampires at the moment. This Necro Serpent blob has been used so effectively alongside that Tomb Prince and the Ushabti Great Bows. Tyrion's still alive and perfectly healthy with 83 melee attack with Martial Prowess active, or Martial Mastery rather. And yeah, they're just clearing up all the Chosen, and I don't see a way back for the Chaos and Vampire forces. Barring some kind of miracle, I think the Tomb Kings have cracked the nut here, and the Necropolis Knight play was really a big factor there for sure. Kolek is super low. Got Sir High Guy dropping the €5 or pound. Who's the best worst legendary lord to have at a wedding? I'll leave you guys to answer that one. I'll answer afterwards. All right, we got Kolek coming in. 600 HP now. One more volley from even the Casket of Souls would be enough to kill him off at this point. Nice breath coming in, but it's actually kind of gonna miss. Yeah. This is gonna be army losses very soon as Kolek dies. That is indeed what King of the Dead is focusing on now. Thank you for the 5, my friend. Much appreciated. Army losses. Yep, that's gonna be your game. Very well played from Jonas Nee and King of the Dead there to bring this back and even it up 1-1. I loved that build. That was so well thought out. Regrowth to keep Casket of Souls firing that entire game. And you saw, as soon as they got close, look at those kills, 186, man. Not so effective from long range, but when they get up close and personal, that thing starts dropping the hammer, especially when you're getting Petra's Incantation of Righteous Smiting. That 40% missile damage boost is so good, especially against Chaos. They have so much armor. Necropolis Knights were super good as well. Worst to have at a wedding from Sir High Guy. Well, Hellebron might be, because she's going to want to chop your head off. I mean, she's going to look good once she drinks some blood. But that's the problem. She wants your blood, and she wants the blood of all the guests at the party. So my vote's gonna go to Hellebrand for this one. And you might say, oh, she's hot, but it's not worth it. It's never worth it. On the crazy hot scale, when she's active during Death Knight, she's a 10-10, and the 10 is more like a 15 on the out of 10 scale. It gets pretty nasty when Hellebrand wants to do bad things to you. So Ushabti Great Bows managed to force a lot of these troops in, them and the bolt throwers together, forced Chaos and Vampires into a position where they really didn't want to be. They didn't want to be losing their cannons. They didn't want to be losing the artillery duel, but they did. I liked the positioning from Aerocrest to come in from the flank, to use those woods as cover. But even firing into the woods, those Ushabti Great Bows dealt so much damage to Kolak. They got him very low, and without him and Luther Harkin working together, they were not able to deal with the Necropolis Knights in time. And if you can't deal with them, you can't get a Katzap. Very well played from King of the Dead there to protect all that stuff in the rear. Loved his build. Super, super strong. And Jonas Nee, well, Swordmasters ended up making quite a large impact too. 3 chevrons. They must have been fighting Chosen. And Tyrion on foot, just a dude who can't get sniped. Doesn't have to worry about Kolak, really. I mean, doesn't want to fight a long duel with him because he'll get knocked over and over and over again. But honestly, he kind of just tar-pitted Star Crusher and that last Dragon Ogre Shaggoth. And meanwhile, Kolak was getting pounded on by all the artillery. So I like that build. A lot of synergy there. And we're going to a game 3. If you're enjoying the stream, please drop a like on it. Helps me push it out to more people. Thank you guys for joining me on this glorious Saturday. And we are 1 game away from the grand finals. Whoever wins this will be meeting Abumatic and Falcon in the finals here. So let me take a look. I don't want to alt tab because I'm scared it might bring back that stupid ass lag. I'm not going to. I'm trying to remember what the last map was, so I'll ask them. Wow, Lucas, what up, dude? James Radcliffe, what's going on? Welcome, welcome. Lilin, so good to see Necropolis Knights and Swordmasters do well. I agree. Necro Knights are such a weird unit. They've kind of been, I wouldn't say they've ever been bad, but they felt really squishy for a really long time. At one point, they had either 80 or 90 armor. I think they had 90, and they got a 20 armor buff, I believe. It might have been 10, but I think it was 20, and that in and of itself is a big buff, but their stats got increased. They've gotten a lot of rolling buffs over the patches, and they've kind of added up to, Summer Song is the map, thank you. It's kind of added up over time, and I think they're in a really good spot right now. Both variants. They were great against that Chaos Infantry. They were exactly what the Doctor ordered. Perfect pick there. Summer Song. Night Crow, $5. We need more tourneys like this. High-end player paired with newer unknown players. Feels real good to watch. I agree. I'm glad you're enjoying it, man. Yeah, I thought, well, one, it's hard to get a full tournament of really good 2v2 players anyway. I mean, it's definitely doable. There's certainly enough. But I thought it'd be fun because Jedi Master Mundi and PD Dragon were supporting, and I said, hey, like, let's... Oh, there he is. Speaking of Jedi Master Mundi. Thank you so much for the support, my friend. $10. Wurzag would be always dancing at the wedding. Is that the worst thing, though? I think Wurzag would be fun. A lot of the Greenskin Lords would be fun if they're not, like, murdering the guests. It'd actually be pretty entertaining. Not so bad having hooligans, soccer hooligans at the party. Thank you for the $10, my friend. Much appreciated. But yeah,
Fortune favors the infamous.
Yeah, Backdoor Slider and Jedi Mazda Mundi were supporting the tourney, so I said, hey, like, you guys come in, let's try to balance teams here. I figured, hey, we get Arrow matched with a relatively newer player, we get Falcon matched with a relatively newer player, and Jonas Nee matched with King of the Dead, and so far we've had some really good games, some very balanced games as well, so hopefully that can continue into the grand finals. Second donation on PayPal real quick. There's not one? I lied. So it's looking like we've got Greenskin, Wood Elves, Lizardmen, Skaven. That is interesting for sure. So we're going into game 3. Series is tied 1-1 right now. Wood Elves and Lizardmen is awesome. So I think, personally, that Falcon handled the Wood Elves perfectly in game 1 of the tournament. And that's typically what you're going to be seeing. It is very difficult to deal with a lot of Way Watchers and with a Glade Lord on a Forest Dragon with Prey of Anathrema in a 2v2 scenario. As I said, there is a force multiplier effect when you have a teammate supporting you. It makes it a lot harder to shut down ranged play. It's why they weren't able to shut down Katep last game. Difficult to get in when there are 2 full armies protecting it. Same thing with Way Watchers. You try to go in, you got the net to stop one important target, and then whatever's netted is just dead when you got 4 Way Watchers on the field. And even if you do deal with that unit and you manage to get through and you keep pushing through, well, then you've got a full other army. And this time it'll be Lizardmen waiting for you. With Dinos, Saurus. See what kind of synergy they go for here, but I would imagine Wood Elves will go range play, Lizardmen will go Dinos and Infantry. We'll see. Greenskins and Skaven gonna be some big armies in this one. Lizardmen and Wood Elves will be small. So it'll be a tale of 2 different kinds of builds here, because I think Greenskins and Skaven will just go real wide and not give the Wood Elves high value threats to kill. Probably the right play against them. BRB. Yeah, big thank you to Jedi Mazda Mundi for helping make this tournament possible. For the Tank 1 for all his generous donations over the weeks and months. Might be working on a tournament with him relatively soon as well. And everyone else who has donated so far, very much appreciated. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. Mass Vanguard? That could be a thing. You could do that with Skaven Greenskins, full Gavos and Death Runners and Clan Ash and stuff. I don't know if full Vanguard or Skaven is the best play, but it can definitely work with Greenskins. And honestly, remember, Force Multiplier, do 2 of it at once and it might just be too much. Might be hard to protect the Way Watchers against all that. Or hell, he might not even go Way Watchers. That's the thing. You could also go for a tree build, which is also something I kind of neglected to mention. And the fact that PD the Power Dragon is the one rocking it. I would say normally if one player is going to be rocking the ranged firepower that's micro-intensive like Way Watchers are, probably be Aerocrastic. So it could be a full tree build from PD here and just be tanky and make like a tree and branch, my guy. Just hold down the battle line in the center. Don't see tree builds anymore in 1v1s, but in 2v2 I think it can definitely work. Bring me Neferata's head! You guys ever seen that copy pasta, which is Harry Potter should have carried a 1911? Avada Kedavra meet Avtomat Kalashnikova. That might be the best thing I've ever read. If you've never seen the Harry Potter one, go read it. It's Harry Potter should carry a 1911 copy pasta. This is so damn good. Can someone copy paste that into chat? I don't know if it's too many. It might be too long. It probably is too long to copy into chat, but which is why I kind of miss Twitch sometimes. Twitch does a lot of things better on streaming than YouTube, unfortunately. But my viewer base is here. That's why we do it here. Not even sure why we're talking about Voldemort in chat, but I'm all for it. Harry Potter is the bomb diggity, my dude. You can't kill me, I have 7 Horcruxes. Well, I guess it's a good thing my 1911 carries 7 plus 1. So, Buddy Cop 2v2 tournament. We're into game 3 of the second series. Whoever wins this is going into the finals to face Falcon, Tabumatic, and the players over on that side of the bracket. Yeah, Twitch does have some drama. I will say one thing about the Total War community. Not a whole lot of drama going on, generally speaking. I've been trying to get like Turin and Italian Spartacus and other people to like rap battle me. We need some fake drama. We need to... And I was talking about wrestling Turin the other day, remember? Someone brought that up in chat and I answered and said, the only way I could defeat Turin in a wrestling match is if I... Well, actually, he just had a surgery. He just had a surgery, so it might not work anymore. But my plan, and hopefully that went well, so hopefully Turin recovers from that very quickly. Wish him all the best, as I'm sure we all do. Staple of the Warhammer 2 scene. But yeah, I think he had his surgery yesterday. The only way I beat him in a wrestling match is if I kite him around like Spider-Man did to Bonesaw in their Hell in the Cell cage match in Spider-Man 1. That's the only way. I just get him tired until his wrist gives out, and then I strike from the shadows. We could do a Jake Paul KSI boxing match, a wrestling match. That's how we make money, boys. The gate for that, I'm sure, would be gigantic. There's no way we wouldn't make money. Alright, we got Skaven and Greenskins here. We got a Black Orc Big Boss. Nice. So we're going for AoE immune to Psych. Got Skarsnik for King of the Dead. Stone Trolls providing that mass. You have the Teethbreaker Rattling Guns. And Forest Goblin Spider Riders, Goblins on the flanks. Clan Rats in the back. And we're going for a big, meaty box. They'll probably be pushing forward, honestly. I think they might leave the Plague Claw catapults behind, but we'll see. Actually, no, they have a lot of artillery firepower. They might be able to... Yeah, no, they're going to sit back. They'll definitely sit back. But they're going to make a huge box here and just survive. And it looks like PD the Power Dragon going for a Deep Wood Scout, so investing less in the range play than Falcon and the Wood Elves. Turin and the Mullet will own me. Not if I use my shifty shenanigans to drown out his power. Bendog G, $9. I've been watching your channel for so long now. Super excited that I'm getting a PC so I can do the same stuff you're doing. Awesome, my dude. Thank you for the support. Really appreciate it. And do it, man. Like, it's not the easiest thing in the world to buy a PC that runs Total War as well, but it's an investment that should hopefully last you for a very long time. That you play a lot of cool games. Because if you can run Total War, we're pretty much run anything. And PC is pretty cool, so we'll be rocking that for a while. Thank you for the support, my friend. So, Dryad front line, Skink cohort, Proxigors, got a Branch Wraith, Penumbral Pendulum, Orion with Just Hounds of Kurnus and the Cloak of Isha. No Horn of the Wild Hunt, so a bit less expensive than normal. Remember, he is unbreakable. He'll get that regen and ward save when he drops low. We got Chameleon Skinks out on the flank. Skink cohort here. Cohort of Sotek, rather, with their Refuse to Die ability. And a Dread Saurian with Lord Mazdamundi on Zlok. So, full rush build. They're going to be committing heavily to going into melee. Wild Riders, 4 of them out on this side. These guys might be in for a world of hurt very soon. They aren't careful yet. So, we are going for a Tale of Two Battles, but it's the exact opposite of what I expected. Skaven and Greenskins are not the ones rushing. They're the ones sitting back with artillery and firepower, while Lizardmen and Wood Elves are full on Bronsoning. They're going straight for it. All the marbles right here. Get hype. Let go. And actually, in terms of lag and stuff, this is going a lot better than I thought in terms of like internet and computer lag. Hasn't really been a problem at all. I'm quite happy about that. Plague Claw catapults firing into Croxagore is actually dealing a lot more damage to them than I would have thought. Normally those go for infantry blobs, but at the moment, going for the monstrous infantry. Get the Wild Riders going all the way around the flank, looking to strike in at the soft, squishy, exposed underbelly of the Skaven and Greenskins battle line. The Dryads obviously not having a good time on the way in, but that was always to be expected. Can the Lizardmen and Wood Elves push through all of this? We got NZ $10 from Colin Brennan, or Colm Brennan. Happy birthday to Turin, and the many, 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 many more to come. Yes, indeed. I didn't know it was his birthday. We got Wild Riders coming around the flank. Thank you for the $10, much appreciated. And Plague Claw catapults, wrecking them. Oh my god, already down to 33 models, down to half HP. Croxagores and Orion into the front ranks. Expect all this stuff to buckle very quickly, even with Savage Orcs there. Croxagores nearby. They should break pretty quick, but the big boss, an immune to Psych, is going to help tremendously. We'll see if that's enough to keep them in the fight for a while the Sails and the Rattling Guns fire in. Dryads are out on the flank here, putting some pressure. Wild Riders are in the back of the map. Nanibumbo's doing a lot of damage. They just need to commit. Don't worry about anything else. Just go into melee. Nice pendulum on the Skaven and Greenskins battle line. Rack up some good kills there, but Stone Trolls are going into melee now. All this stuff will stick in the fight for a long time because of that big boss. Very useful tool. Here comes the Big Daddy Dreadsaurian. Here comes the Wild Rider straight into the Rattling Guns. Oh, baby. This is going to be a tear round on this side super quick. And Mazda Mundi into the back line. This is looking good for Lizardmen and Wood Elves so far. They're already on the target they want to get. They got in there easy. That's a Fate of Buna, but the Shield of the Old Ones will provide a 22% ward save for them. They'll be able to survive some of that damage. Mazda Mundi is obviously going to be a massive threat. Dropping a banishment, already up to 45 kills. Here comes Skarsnik. Here comes the big boss, but he can out-duel them for a while. Orion down to half HP, but he's fine for now. Front line going the way of the Skaven and Greenskins, though. They have pushed back the Dryads. They have pushed back the Saurus. And the Plague Monk summons won't make that any easier for the Lizardmen and Wood Elves Alliance. The Millions are still online. Rat Ogre's terrified. Dreadsaurian full HP. And the big question I have for the Skaven and Greenskins is, will they have enough firepower to bring that bad boy down? They've not shot it at all. And when a Dreadsaurian makes it into your battle line unscathed, that is bad news bears. We'll see. Mazda Mundi going into a bunch of Stone Trolls, an Assassin, Lord Skrok. You'll need some support there for sure. That could get ugly for him relatively quickly. Orion's running around, causing terror, being a beast. Looks like a fermented fungi and a Spirit Leech. He might rampage soon, and he's very isolated right now. Wild Riders and the Dreadsaurian need to come this way if they want to protect him. Yeah, here come the Dryads to support a little bit, but they'll be able to push through, and they want him dead bad. Apotheosis to heal him up. He manages to escape. Very nicely played. Definitely dodged from arrow. Orion and the Rat Ogres are both hanging out right here. Rat Ogres could pin him down, but they don't want to be fighting Orion and Mazda Mundi at the same time. Another Plague Monk summon. Dreadsaurian full surround off on this huge Black Orc big boss blob. Can the Greenskins hold on? Very close right now. A lot of units and Deepwood Scouts and Croxagores and stuff sitting in the back of the map. We'll cycle in given enough time. Wild Riders took a lot of damage. Big pendulum, huge pendulum. Coming in from the Branch Wraith. Shield of the Old One's going down too. Gotta keep that Dreadsaurian in the fight for a little bit longer. Now he's starting to feel a little bit isolated. And there's a lot going on right here. Skaven and Greenskins are looking powerful in the center. The Dreadsaurian is not easy to bring down, and it's at 113 kills already. Stone Trolls have a surround off. Banishment coming in from from Orion. That's a Hounds of Kurnus bouncing through, getting him up to 71 kills. Valensbar still dead even. Croxagores and the rest of the Monstrous Infantry cycling in. Deepwood Scouts not firing for the moment, not on fire at will, which is probably the right call. Save that ammo. The Dreadsaurian's gonna rout. And they may not have enough heals to get him back in the fight. That's a Deliverance of Itza. Rather, a Ruination of Titties, and it did not go in. No titties were ruined today. It got canceled by the Rat Ogres. He's trying to cast it again. The spell is still bugged, by the way. The tendrils of that spell will go the same way. You can see it there. That's why people don't generally go for that spell, but it's a 2v2, so it has a bit more chance to get value, but still a bug CA definitely need to fix. Pretty annoying. Well, we're starting to swing into Skaven and Greenskin's favor, but far from over. The Dread Saurian will come back to the fight. Zales are still online, still firing in. Doing some good damage to the Monstrous Infantry and to the Dryads as well. Orion just died. Mazda Mundi is surrounded. It's starting to look a little bit bleak. They need that Dread Saurian back if they want to get into this fight. Gotta get the Deepwood Scouts back here too. Focus fire. But the Greenskins in this game are looking so strong right now. It'll be hard. If the audio is delayed, refresh your stream. And it shouldn't be a problem on my end. I mean, there's a delay from what I say to when you see it, but it should be synced properly. If it's not synced, just refresh your stream and that should fix it. That's a YouTube problem. Big Bubble of Nope coming down. Mazda Mundi starting to look a little bit low. Oh, it's starting to look a little bit scary. Got Apotheosis that'll heal him up about 500. Dread Saurian is coming back. But is Mazda Mundi and Dread Saurian enough to deal with all this? The Stone Trolls, a full HP Black Orc Big Boss, Rat Ogres, an Assassin? Thinking probably not. Spirit Leech might rout this Feral Dread Saurian off soon. Mazda Mundi routes, Army Losses kicks in. Skaven and Greenskins are gonna win this one. And that is gonna be King of the Dead and Jonasny heading into the Grand Finals to face Falcon and Kabumatic. Nicely played there. That was just a Death Star of Skaven and Greenskins. Kept all the HQ together, kept Skarsnik, kept Skrull, kept the Assassin, kept the Black Orc Big Boss all together. And the Stone Trolls, providing that mass and all that AP, they each earn 2 chevrons. It's a very good unit. And meanwhile, Giselles and the Plague Claw Catapults did what they could. Rat Ogres came in, Lord Skrull got a ton of value from Liber Roboticus and from the Rod of Corruption, kept the Assassin nearby, and they just gooned up on any of the big monsters that came in, and it was nicely played from Aerocrastic and PD the Power Dragon to get the Dread Saurian and Mazda Mundi into melee unscathed, and honestly, in a lot of scenarios, that's going to win you the game. If you can get such high HP lords and monsters in unscathed, then often they don't have enough firepower to bring you down, but there's more of that in 2v2 scenarios, and they just kept all that HQ together, and it was enough to goon out both the Zlok and the Dread Saurian. Once they routed, it was game, set, match. I like the Wild Rider attack. They probably could have generated a little bit more value. These first 2 did not do very well. The second 2 chevrons and 3 chevrons, earned 100 kills each. Very good there. Maybe could have gotten a little bit more aggressive with them. I like that they flanked all the way around, but they kind of hung around to get shot by the Giselles a little bit longer than they needed to. Probably could have charged in the clan routes and routed them immediately, but overall, good synergy from PD the Power Dragon and Aerocrastic. They had good builds there, and they focused fire on the right targets. They got in on the good stuff they wanted to. Just Jonas and King of the Dead have such a powerful build in the center. It was enough to win the day, and they will be in the Grand Finals. So we'll be heading to that best of 5 series right now. Well played to everybody. That was fun to watch. That was a great series. That was a great series. Yeah, the Deepwood Scouts did not generate a ton of value there. It's hard for them to. I honestly think that Weight Watchers in a 2v2 scenario are better. Just because you need burst damage. That's the most important thing. In a 1v1, you have time to sit back and kite and shoot up Rat Ogres and all that stuff, and just cost efficiency is more important there. But in 2v2s, what we've noticed today, the theme of the tournament so far is that killing power wins battles. If you bring enough killing power in there and focus fire it on the right targets, you're going to win. And Weight Watchers provide that in spades quite a bit better than Deepwood Scouts do. Yeah, no, the Wild Rider play was not bad. It was not a bad attack. I think it was maybe a little bit slow. I think he could have charged it in right away. But it created so much space for the Dreadsaurian and Mazdamundi to make it into melee. That's what you want. But after that, they kind of got isolated. And losing the frontline engagement certainly did not help. Yeah, that immune to Psych Aura is such a big deal. It's a huge buff to the Greenskins. I talked about it when I did the Big Boss stream. So powerful. So powerful. Because the Greenskins are... they're very susceptible to terror routing. So if you have something, especially in a 2v2 where there are going to be more terror-causing threats, just keep your guys in the fight. That's the reason why they won that melee engagement so handily. Kulchan Plains is one of them. I think Mortis Waste is one of them. I think Prague might be number one. I think Prague is the first map. Yeah. Prague, Longwy, MP Crossroads, Kulchan, Galbaraz. Okay, thank you. Prague and Longwy. Prague is a very open map. Pretty big one too, I believe. Hope you guys are enjoying so far. If you are, please hit that like button. Really helps me out. Yeah, that was the other issue for the Lizardmen. Dreadsaurian and Mazdamundi were not able to get together. So they kind of got isolated, as I said, when they charged in. Both made it in unscathed. And they dropped some good banishments. Unfortunately, the Ruination of Cities was... man, it's still bugged, man. Like, that really needs to get fixed. Not a good look. Could have been very useful on that blob. Instead, it had all three tendrils go the exact same way, which is complete overkill, obviously. We'll see what they go for here. Had some really good games today, though. Some really good games. Yeah, it's important for the Rat Ogres in the second half of their HP bar. They have Frenzy, so they are immune to Psych when their leadership is good, but as soon as that starts dropping, then yeah, the Black Orc Big Boss can keep them in, and it prevents their leadership from dropping in the first place, so... it almost gives them double Frenzy, or double immune to Psych. Dwarfs are banned, Skaven are banned. And I bet you we will see some Dark Elves from Falcon today. You know he brings that dreaded double dragon all the time. Can he carry his team to victory, or will it be Kabumatic who wins it for the duo? Everyone's played well today so far. Even the newer players, they're honestly doing a really good job. And one thing I think a lot of people overlook, especially on stream, in front of a decent audience, is how much pressure there is. Like, I'll tell you right now, when I played in the Dignitas Invitational for Rome 2, when I played in the Everchosens, there is a lot of pressure to perform. There are a lot of people watching. And it is difficult to do well, to micro well. You get a lot of adrenaline pumping through you. You get hype in that kind of stage. This obviously isn't Ever-Chosen stage or anything, but there are a lot of people watching it. For some of them, this is like the first tournament they've ever played in, so do not underestimate the effect nerves can have, but a lot of people can just race the occasion. And some people do even better in the spotlight. Everyone today has done well, for sure. Undead combos are very good, for sure. Tomb Kings and Vampirates are definitely a solid duo. Although you lose synergy from the heal. So, for example, Tomb Kings, again, Invocation Hack does nothing. They need Lore of Life. That's why we saw them paired with the High Elves in the last game, or 2 games ago. You can actually heal Constructs, Pyro Titans, and Necrosphinxes with Regrowth, which is disgusting and probably shouldn't be a thing, but... Invocation of the Hack does nothing for them, which is maybe a little bit counterintuitive, but how it works. Yeah, healing up Katep with the Regrowth was the big reason they won game 2. Okay, We got 2 Vampire Counts players in this one, looking like High Elves Counts and Tomb Kings Counts. So we are getting a undead duo here. Somebody nameless if Arrow and PD had managed to get their heavy hitters together, the Dreadsaurian, Mazda, Orion, and the Crossgores, along with that flanking Wild Riders charge, might have done it. There was definitely a Death Ball style that the Greenskins and Skaven utilized there that the Wood Elves and Lizardmen were never able to link up. That's why that Black Orc Big Boss pick was so strong. Alright guys, best of 5. See if this goes all 5 or if someone will sweep it. First to 3. Let's go. Nope. It is not healed by Nahek. At least I believe it is not. As we saw, the Casket of Souls was healed by Regrowth. I believe it is the exact same thing for Constructs as well. I could be wrong though. I could be wrong. I don't know why Constructs would be handled differently than Casket of Souls. Oh, you know what it is? You know what it is? It's that Katep is living. That's why. Katep is a Lich Lord. He's a Lich Priest. So they're technically still alive. They're just mummified living dudes. So it might be Nahak that heals them. I'd have to go back and look again, but you might be right. Yeah, the healing with the Tomb Kings gets really weird because they're not supposed to have any whatsoever except from Realm of Souls. Good point. Thanks for bringing that up. Alright, so High Elves, Vampire Counts, Tomb Kings, Vampire Counts. So, if you're the Counts here, great thing about them, obviously, they can afford to field a ton of infantry for very cheap. So, skeleton spam, zombie spam, quite useful in a 2v2. Zombies especially, because they're just great tar pits. And behind that, you got your Blood Knights. And I think that what Arrow did in their first game on MP Crossroads is probably what you'll be seeing a lot from the Counts today. A really powerful flyer who can pick and choose engagements and isolate high-value threats and murder them. Blood Dragon Lord, amazing for that. Blood Knights, amazing in a cav duel. Heal them up with the Invocation of the Hack, they're going to be feeling real good about themselves. And then, for Falcon, you can probably expect to see some flyers here, would be my guess. I don't know if he'll be going for the full screwy build with Techless on the bird, with the Dragon Breaths, with the nets and all that stuff, but it's very possible. Also a very strong build in duos too. Maybe even stronger. No, it's not stronger in 2s, but it's definitely not bad there either. King of the Dead playing as Tomb Kings. We saw him crush it in game 2 with the Casket of Souls pick. See if he can do the same thing here. But Falcon's seen that build now. Cabomatic's seen that build now. He might be more ready for it. Yeah, Grand Finals. We are into game 1 of the Grand Finals. Best of 5, first to 3. Whoever wins 3 first will win this series outright. They will be champions forever. Dude, I love Blood Knights so much too. They are aesthetically awesome. They're incredibly fun to play. I love me heavy cav in general. Whether it be Monstrous Cav or just Heavy Knights in general, they're so much fun to use. They look sexy. Nothing not to like about Blood Knights. So strong. Against so many different targets. Yeah, I kind of wish you'd gone Followers of Nagash. Can't wait for the Big Daddy Boner to appear in Game 3. Been wanting Nagash Daddy for a long ass time. I think we'll get him. And my waifu Neferata, please. Alright, so we are into the Eastern Oblast, Prague, the doorstep of Kislev. And it is an undead alliance versus High Elves and undead. Very lore-friendly alliances for sure. We ride together, we die together, bad boys for life. In chat, let me know. You guys rooting on or expecting Falcon and Kabumatic to win? Or are we thinking Jonas Knee and King of the Dead will pull this one out? Can't even say either side has a clear-cut advantage. I'm expecting to see a very hard-fought best-of-5 series here. Poopy Frood. His stream was muted. Yeah. Yeah, it's not very entertaining to watch Warhammer 2 when there's no sound. Or commentary. Agreed. Glad you figured it out, my dude. Juan Orozco, $5. A head-to-head campaign with you in turn would be dope. I'd love to see my fave YouTubers going at it. Let's see if we can make that happen, man. Thank you so much. Falcon because he beat me. So are you betting on him to win, or do you want him to win? Because those are two different things. King of the Dead is using his main faction. He is a Tomb King's player. He's also a very well-versed Norska player, too.
Fortune favors the infamous.
Fortune does indeed favor the infamous. We've got 2 bolt throwers, a Illyrial the Radiant. Don't see her every day anymore, because Teclis has kind of taken her spot, but still incredible lord. The Star of Avalorn. She has Tempest, Earthblood, and Foz protection. And the Shield Stone of Isha for physical resist, Boon of Isha for AoE immune to psych and magic attacks, Sisters of Avalorn, the Fireborn, and a Star Dragon. There's never a time you'll bring a Lariel without a Star Dragon. Just no reason to. So he's going for the full range play. Sister Battle Line, Fireborn Dragon Princes, a lot of archers, and Kabumatic. Going for the Grave Guard Great Weapons, and some Grave Guard with a lot of Skelly Boys, and full infantry rush. 2 bolt throwers, Banshee, and Vlad von Karstein. They have fun fighting that in melee, guys. Now, if they have Spirit Leeches, that might be bad news bears for the Banshees, but on the other side, we have Manfred. Oh, he did not bring Spirit Leech, though. Oh my god, that would have been a nightmare for those Banshees. They would have just melted infinite Spirit Leeches all day long with Master of the Dark Arts. But it looks like Ark in the Black is on the field, and he does have Spirit Leech. And he does have double Spirit Leech because he has his Lich Staff, which means he can refresh the cooldown and do another one immediately. So yeah, that could be bad news bears for the Banshees. It's Arkin, a Tomb Prince, Manfred, and Arkin together is actually pretty badass. Temrian War Sphinx, Crypt Horrors, Blood Knights in the back. Those damn Crypt Horrors, they're so hot right now. Ushabti, a lot of Crypt Horrors. Should we just call them Crypt Horrors for forever? Just never ever pronounce the second part of the word. They're not horrors, they're horrors. They're Crypt Horrors. I mean, have a look at this hairy ass, man. Tell me they're not shaking that thing. Ooh, daddy. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, son. Why did they bother modeling that, dude? Both the Vargeist and the Crypt Horrors have hairy gooches. It's a little bit weird, but I'm down with it. Anyway, we got Banshees. We do have a Casket of Souls. We got Blood Knights. Yeah, that's for the builds. So, a lot more range firepower, obviously, for the High Elves build here. Sisters of Avalorn are going to be a problem for those constructs. So is the Star Dragon. No net to tie them in place, though. Look at this build, man. That's cut and throw. That's going to be really hard. Getting into the cookie jar here, it's going to be really hard. I hope they don't forget this stuff. That would be not a great start to the game. Gotchi base indeed, my dude. And a key. And a key. And a key. And a key. The Twitch memes are coming out strong right now, boys. Alright. Fireborn are going to be a huge threat to everything on the other side of the field as well. They've got a ton of heals that can go their way. Earthblood and the Star of Avalorn. Blood Knights can deal with them, but they're going to need help. And they're going to need to take some good engagements too. Both sides actually have this double Banshee build. But I'd say King of the Dead and Jonasny have better tools for quickly eliminating the Banshees on their side of the field. And thankfully, he did not forget about them. Did move them to safety. They would have been able to survive, but would have been a bit awkward to start the game with them over on the hill by themselves. You zoom in like that by pressing N. So I'll give you another great look. You hit N to zoom in initially, and then Z and X control how much you can zoom. Wow, wow, wow. Owen Wilson said, wow. Quite a hairy butt you got there, Mr. Cryptor. Wow. But yeah, Z and X control your zoom, and N is what gives you the zoom in the first place. Hope that helps. I like how as soon as I started zooming in on Cryptor asses, more people joined the stream. Got 730 people on right now. Welcome, welcome. Alright, so be afraid of this goon squad right here. I remember there's a time when Illyriel had even higher melee defense. I think she had like 54 or 55 at one point. Pretty crazy. A little bit high for a tank lord like she is. She's still a force to be reckoned with though. One of the best high elf lords, no question about it. Fireborn are completely hidden at the moment. And with the bolt throwers, they are going to force these opponents to charge in to melee.
Fortune favors the infamous.
Alright, so zombie front line is going to be great meat shield. Khemri and Warsphinx will obviously be able to bound through that incredibly easily. But Vlad and the Banshee Goon Squad, we're going to keep an eye on them, because I want to see how they do with all these Spirit Leeches going their way. And honestly, if I was Arkin, I would maybe think about just starting to do it. Force the heals out early, get rid of them, and then they won't make any impact on the battle whatsoever. Yeah, she had 54 MD, she used to. What I seem to remember as well. Sarah Ruddy donated $10. Tipping for Cryptor Booty. Oh, yeah! Well, I'm talking about, playa. Thank you so much. Much appreciated, my friend. And Jonathan Kelly, $5. Hit that thumbs up, nerds. Agreed. Don't be nerds. Hit that thumbs up. Ushabti Grippo is firing in on the bolt throwers. Thank you guys both so much for the support. Really appreciate that. Casket of Souls going down. Okay, so that was why, yeah. So Invocation to Heck normally will help the Casket of Souls, but because Katep is a Lich Lord, you get some regrowths. Makes sense. So they are wrecking these bolt throwers at the moment, and it is forcing Falcon and Kamumatic to move forward here. They are going to put pressure on the Tomb Kings and Vampire Counts battle line. Sisters of Avalorn are in range and be very afraid. We're just getting rid of the chaff early, and then they'll move up and deal with the Crypt Horrors and the Khemri and Warsphinx as well. Gotta be so careful. When there are 3 or 4 of those, the focus fire from the Sisters of Avalorn could single-handedly be ruinous for the Tomb Kings and Manfred alliance. Even Arkin the Black and Manfred themselves need to be very, very careful. Chosen the Gods are wrecking the Sisters so far. Star Dragon with a huge breath attack. Nicely played. Livor Mortis going to give him some more physical resistance. Remember, Star Dragon Breath is flaming and physical damage, so that helped a lot. It would have melted without that spell, but still, that hurt. Well done from King of the Dead to keep him in the fight, though. Tomb Prince and Arkin the Black are nearby. The Casket continuing to pound into those Sisters as they focus fire on the Ushabti and the Crypt Horrors. In a frontline melee engagement, I expect High Elves and Vampire Counts, Vlad, to win this grind. They have more Graveguard, they have more AP, they should be able to win it. But there's more range firepower, I think, on the other side, even with the Sisters of Avalorn. I think the Casket of Souls and Ushabti are going to be a big problem. So it's really, who gets a good focus fire? Right now, Falcon's getting the better of that. And some really good shots into the Ushabti here. Here come the Blood Knights, tied up by the Star Dragon and Illyriel. Now the focus fire comes in, and Jonasny's got to be careful with the Cav. That could hurt real bad, and Fireborn could come in as well. They're trying to pull through and get in on the Fireborn, where they can focus fire more with the Casket of Souls and with the range firepower back here. Yes, Fate of Buna down on the Fireborn. We'll see if a Star of Avalorn can heal them back up. Sisters are completely safe, and they've got plenty of support in the rear as well. Blood Knights are coming, but they are not going to survive what comes here now. So yeah, you wanted to keep the Fireborn alive under the effects of that Fate of Buna. Star of Avalorn will help a lot. So much focus fire coming in. They will make it into melee, but with that 50 melee defense, they won't deal as much damage, and I think they will crumble out pretty soon. Backed up by the Skeleton Spearman. On the front ranks, though, Manfred's side is actually doing better than I would think. They're holding really well, and the Graveguard are getting beat up. I guess the Krebs Horrors and the Ushabti and the Khemrian Warsphinx are proving to be more than enough to deal with all this stuff. Where is the Khemrian Warsphinx right now? Is it already dead? No, it's back here. It's full HP. 7,000 HP, hasn't taken a hit yet, and they've got to invest a lot back here, shutting down the War Kitty of the gods. Big charge coming in, getting to the archers. Blood Knights are in. Jonasny and King of the Dead are playing this very well. And now the range play that I said would be hard to shut down is getting shut down here. Archers are breaking off. You could go into the bolt throwers, and it looks like Falcon's investing a lot in trying to keep them online. The Fireborn still routed off though, only 6 kills. Not a lot of value from those bad boys. Vlad is alive. I do not see his Banshee waifus though. Where are they at though? Here they are. They moved all the way to the enemy battle line, and now we got a huge duel. Arkin, Vlad, Manfred's nearby. It's almost lore friendly. I could see Vlad fighting against Arkin and Manfred in a single duel. Fireborn are back. Conspar are still dead even. Graveguard are gonna crumble out. These Krebs Horrors are beasting it up with their hairy asses though. They're doing it big. Manfred's still content to sit back and raise zombies, raise dead. Oh, Khemrian Warsphinx is really gonna turn this entire flank heavily in the favor of King of the Dead and Jonasny. Sisters are still alive. Still got some models left, but they've taken a lot of damage. Blood Knights will crumble out. Star Dragon, Lariel full HP. And not much healing has gone their way either, which is big. It means that they have a lot more healing cap left to use. And I believe they have one more use of Star of Avalorn as well. It's getting hype. Ooh, now they gotta be very careful here. Banshee's gotta be super careful. And what's interesting, Banshees deal magical damage, so they actually beat the crap out of each other. They will cut through each other's physical resistance. Now the Banshees are coming in. This is gonna get bad for Kabumatic. Yeah, they don't have enough to win this duel now. The Banshees get the rear charge. I think Vlad's gonna be in big trouble here, especially with Spirit Leashes going his way. But balance are beginning to shift a little bit in the favor of the High Elves. Surprises me a little bit. Fireborn could get a charge in. Sisters and their flaming damage wrecking these Krebs Horrors. They'll take 22% extra damage to their flaming shots. Lariel in there too. Krebs Horror is gonna crumble out. And these sisters are still alive. Liber Mortis going down. With nice physical resistance and leadership to the right flank. And Vlad and the Banshees are in the wrong neighborhood. Earthblood trying to heal them. Why does it look like it is? I think it did. Dude, I don't understand how healing works in this game anymore. I don't get it. Now, dealing with this Khemrian Warsphinx is going to be very challenging. It's up to 72 kills. It's had its way with all the infantry, and it's moving quick. If they can pin it in place with the Star Dragon and get volleys in with the sisters, it'll drop relatively fast. But this is one way to deal with these sisters. Ushabti summon. Nicely played. Kabumatic was right on top of that. Really well played there. Fireborn and the Spears immediately reacted, killing off the Ushabti immediately. They're going to make no impact here whatsoever, I don't think. And still even. Vlad's alive. Banshees are alive. Breath attack coming on Manfred, but the Khemrian Warsphinx and Ark in the Black are charging in as well. We've got a big old goon fight in the back of the map as the Chosen the Gods and the Ushabti look on. Yeah, it is pretty much like a Spider-Man pointing at me. That's a good point. I'm gonna kill you, but if you kill me, you're killing yourself. Nice Star of Avalorn from Falcon, healing up the Star Dragon. We get so much value out of that. Oh my god, one of the Banshees getting chunked down. Vlad getting chunked down. It's swinging in the High Elves' favor now. They've pushed through. They're on target. Oh, it might be bad news bears for the Tomb Kings, King of the Dead, and Jonas Nee. Oh, this side of the map is completely clear. Cryptors can come in, but they're not going to make any impact whatsoever. Fate of Buna goes down on what? Can't even tell. Fireborn charging in, Illyrial charging in, Termine War Sphinx being pinned down exactly as I said. Star Dragon pins down the War Sphinx. Sisters shoot in, and it starts dropping real fast. Gotten no kills since we last talked about it. The Star Dragon's dropping low too. It's rampaged by Curse of Jaff, minus 24 melee attack. Should be able to disengage now though, with the Fireborn supporting. Yeah, this is definitely going the way of the High Elves. Crypt Horrors are into melee in and amongst the Lothran Sea Guard, but that's not really where they want to be. They've got spears, they've got bonus first large, and they're melting. Now the flaming attacks start coming their way, and they're gonna disintegrate very soon. Lariel can't be touched, can't be moved, can't be stopped, can't be rocked. Nasty strawberry milkshake breath evaporating. Arc in the black, and that is gonna seal the deal. High Elves and Vampire Counts, Kabumatic and Falcon gonna take game one, barring some kind of miracle. Banshees and Manfred should still be alive, but Arkin just got demolished by that spell. That was so brutal. Yeah, Army Lust will kick in very soon. Very nicely played. As expected from Falcon and the Dragon. He knows how to use that thing. He knows how to take the right engagements with them, and gonna give him an early 1-0 lead. My god, that was so filthy. Kabumatic played that really well with the counts. Vlad von Karstein and the Banshee Goon squad managed to survive for the majority of that battle, and he created so much space and time for Falcon and Illyrial to come in, do their breath attacks, and get their heals in. More importantly, when the stuff was pressuring the back, his spears were always in the right spot. Shut down that Ushabti summon so fast, shut down the Blood Knights, shut down the Khemrian War Sphinx, and forced it to go back towards the duel. And I think MVP there goes to Kabumatic. He played that super, super well. But Falcon, obviously, with the breath attacks, was very, very strong. Fireborn didn't make a huge impact, but they're going to be focus fired by Fate of Bunas and by Casket of Souls and all that stuff anyway. Sisters each earned 1 chevron. Jonas and the Blood Knights tried to put pressure in the rear against the High Elves, but Skeleton Spearmen were always in the right spot. Crypt Horrors did well against the Graveguard. I mean, they crushed them. They ran them over. That's why he has so many kills on the Monstrous Infantry. But after that, Sisters and their flaming damage was too much for them. They crumbled out. King of the Dead had some nice plays. The Curse of Jaff to rampage the Star Dragon. Arc in the Black to Spirit Leech bad forces. Fate of them as well. Tomb Prince to help support. But in the end, Kabumatic and Falcon go up 1-0, and we're moving into game 2. Langui is the next map on the agenda. Yeah, I'm gonna give credit to that to Kabumatic, man. He played that super, super well. In a tough situation, too. Yeah, Sisters were firing into very high value stuff that entire game. They only shot into Blood Knights, Crypt Horrors, and the Khemrian War Sphinx. Which is why their kill counts were relatively low. Oh yeah! Buddy cop! 2v2s, let's go! Hi Tran, can you remember what High Elf campaigns were like before the Sisters of Avalorn? I can. It was actually the first campaign I ever did in Warhammer 2. The Techless one that you guys saw was the first campaign I ever did. Didn't finish that one. But I can remember it, and Honestly, I've personally not even done very much doom stacking with the High Elves anyway, with Sisters of Avalorn, so I've only played maybe like 2 or 3 campaigns where I brought tons of them. Last one you saw with Teclis as Order of Lore Masters was, I brought a lot of Sisters, a lot of Silver and Guard in that one, but it wasn't too bad. But their opening roster, their day 1 roster definitely lacked some flavor. They were a bit generic, which I actually think is why they're so popular in its own weird way. They're just familiar. They kind of have a bit of everything, and they certainly did on day 1. All their flavor units like White Lions, well, War Lions of Krace, and the Sisters, and the Silver and Guard, all the flavor stuff really came in the DLCs. So I didn't love their roster when they first came out, but I find Dragon Princes and Dragons so awesome in the first place that I was still cool playing with them. Yeah, them and Empire are the 2 most popular races in Game 1 and Game 2 respectively, simply because they're familiar. They play like regular Total War games. They play like something you recognize, and they have all tools. They have cav, they have spears, they have archers, they have a staunch line, they're defensive. You can sit back and let your archers fire at will. Lots to like about them, but yeah, I think the DLCs have done them very well. Except for the War Lions, dude. Have you guys seen their model? They look so bizarre. They're like some crack lions, man. They've had a lot of crack cocaine. They've had a rough life. If you go back to like Age of Reckoning or any other Warhammer Online game, War Lions are always represented as this glorious, majestic creature. They're not that majestic in Warhammer 2. They're kind of ugly. Not that I'm hating on CA's models. The majority of their models are amazing. But in terms of the actual War Lions, like I really don't like the way they did them. They don't look like a majestic beast. They look like they've been tweaking out on heroin for 35 years. A lot of elves getting banned over here. A lot of elves. Yeah, remember, if the audio, like my voice, ever desyncs with what's actually happening on screen, just hit refresh on your stream and you'll be good. I don't think that happens too much, but YouTube streaming straight up is not on the level of Twitch. It's not even close. As we've already seen today, it's got issues that Twitch does not have. Thankfully, whatever the issue was seems to have evened out. What's subjective, Nick Burrell? Are you thinking the War Lions in their current implementation look sexy and majestic and beautiful? You're welcome to that opinion, of course, and I'm welcome to say you are wrong. Yeah, they're not Cryptors, that's for sure. I mean, look at those hairy asses. Can it get more majestic than that? My lord. Vargheists have unironic pubes on their model too. Whatever color their mohawk is the curtain matches the drapes. whatever their mohawk is the same color their pubes are. I don't know if you guys have noticed, the Mousillon one have yellow pubes. It's pretty hot. This is why you come to Milk and Cookies TW streams, my dude. Who doesn't want to talk about Vargheists pubes, you know what I'm saying? Why we're not seeing the Mortis engine come out to play? Yes. The reason for that, I think, is that, as we've talked about already, firepower is amplified in 2v2s. It is going to be very difficult to keep a Mortis engine online in a 2v2 scenario, because there are going to be 2 players trying to kill it. And it is always going to be the thing that you focus fire down first. Always. So if someone brings a Mortis engine, and the biggest issue I think it has is it's this big glowing monstrosity. It's a huge model, but it glows. It just shines bright, like the sun. So everyone sees it immediately, and they're like, that thing's terrifying. I want it dead. It will always be the first thing to die. So the only way you're going to keep it online is if you keep it in the back of the map and hide it in the woods or something, but if you do that, then you're not getting any value out of the Mortis engine in the first place. So I think it's going to be too easy for 2 players to focus down and kill. And there are some matchups where it would be good. If you don't think your opponents are going to go heavy on the range plane, they're going to go heavy on melee, it could do work for you. 100%. It can win you the game. But that is what I've said many times before. Mortis Engine is a win condition, and it is a lose condition. If you keep it online for the entire game, you will win. It will drain the life of your entire enemy army, and you're going to win. If it dies quickly, which it can often, it often does, then it's going to lose you the game because it's super expensive, and at that point, you don't have what you need to win the game. Yeah, Dreadsaurian at least isn't shiny. But, I mean, people still, they're gonna notice it. King of the Dead AFK, classic. You know what show I just watched recently that I absolutely adore? If you've not seen True Detective, it's on HBO, it's on Amazon Prime as well, because HBO is partnered with Amazon Prime. First season, hella good. Oh my god, Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson are transcendent. They are fantastic actors. I just finished it up a week ago. The intro to that show is also amazing. I actually have a plan for that. I'm not going to spoil what it is yet, but I'm going to try to do something with it. Maybe with Party Elite, if I can. God damn, that show is so good. Very atmospheric, very dark, very brutal, but I can highly recommend it. It's also interesting, and I'm talking about it because it's a buddy cop tournament, and it makes me think of it, but they are not buddies. Most buddy cop movies, they start out with a lot of aggression. Oh, you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? You got Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker and Rush Hour, and you got Lethal Weapon and all these. And usually there's a lot of conflict between them at the start, but then they become friends and they're joking and blah, blah, blah. No, Matthew McConaughey, Russ Cole, and Woody Harrelson, they hate each other the entire show. And it makes for a really interesting dynamic. Highly recommend that show. I did not see season 2. I've seen the shootout for it. No spoilers there, but there's a big shootout in season 2. I saw that. It was pretty intense and very realistic and brutal. But besides that, oh yeah, that reminds me. In season 1, there's a fantastic uncut shot that lasts for 5-6 minutes when they're in the ghetto, and it's beautiful cinematography. But yeah, I've not seen season 2 yet. I heard it had some strong performances and some good acting, but was let down pretty heavily by the storyline and the writing itself, is what I've heard about it. And season 3 I've heard is good, but not on the level of 1. Smash that like button, yo! Yeah, buddy. I actually have never seen Lethal Weapon, which I feel a little bit bad about. There's something about Mel Gibson and a mullet that's badass and awesome. I've never seen those movies. I've seen like parts of them, bits and pieces, but I've not seen it all the way through. You know what I would consider a buddy cop movie though? Live Free, Die Hard. John McClane and Justin, what? It's Bruce Willis obviously, and Justin something. Live Free, Die Hard I thought was really good actually. That was summer of like 2006, 2007? I think I was in high school when I saw that. That was the year Transformers came out as well. That was a cool summer for movies. But I really like Live Free, Die Hard. It's not the best one in the series. That would probably go to the first one. But very solid. Very entertaining. And Timothy Olyphant is good in whatever he's in. If you've not seen, speaking of Timothy Olyphant, if you've not seen The Crazies, also highly recommended. That is a scary ass movie, dude. PG-13, but it is creepy like hard R. The Crazies is absolutely insane. There's a scene where a guy runs his crop rotator in his farmhouse and just turns it on, and all you hear is the chugging of the blades, and it's dead of night, and they don't know where he is. They're trying to find him, and it's one of the spookiest, most atmospheric scenes I've ever seen in a movie. Terrifying. I can't remember the name of that piece of machinery. It's the combine. He's running his combine, the crop combine harvester, and it's just like the whole thing is running, and you hear it whirring and clacking, and there's nothing that really happens. There's no jump scares, none of that bullcrap. It's just pure immersion and terror because you know something is wrong. Really, really good. And that's also a remake of a movie that came out, I think, back in like the 80s or 90s. Yeah, Timothy Olyphant's great in that. Hola, come here, baby. Right. Hola. I have a Aussie Doodle. I don't know if I've actually ever shown you guys of her. I'll try and do that soon. Effing adorable. And hypoallergenic, which is awesome. Softest hair you will ever pet. So effing cute. Oh, Crazy's Izar? Okay, fair enough. I thought it was PG-13. Yeah, I mean, there are some brutal scenes in it now that I think about it. There's some pretty brutal ones. Alright, boys. Y'all ready? Going into game 2. Got Kabumatic playing Chaos, Falcon playing Empire. Looks like King of the Dead will play Beastmen, and Skaven as Jonas Nee. We're on Langui. Bit of an interesting map. There's a lot of shot blockers actually. The curvature of the map itself kind of prevent cannons from doing all that they want to do. There's a lot of trees as well. There's 2 bands of trees that provide a lot of cover on the way in on the approach. But the center of the map is wide open. The flanks of the map are wide open, and it can make for some very interesting battles. Santa Clarita Diet? Is that a movie or a show? I've never heard of that. Yeah, we got Beastmen and Beastmen, because Skaven obviously don't exist. King of the Dead as the Beastmen. I was looking forward to seeing some Beastmen today, so I'm glad we're going to get to see that in action. It's been a really good tournament so far. I don't know about you guys, but I've been very happy with the performances. There have been some really close games. Very back and forth. We will see if King of the Dead and Jonas Nee can bring this one back, or if Falcon and Kabumatic will take a commanding 2-0 lead here. How long is the stream been going for? Three hours so far. I think we can finish this before 4 hits. What do you guys have planned today after the stream? Anything fun? Any of you guys going out? Hitting the beach? Drinking some brewskis during Covizi? Probably make a beer run and grab some food after the stream is done. Maybe get some Chipotle. Get some Miller Lite. Sit on the back of my porch. Drink some beers. America. This is America. God damn it, we speak American. Alright, we got Knights of the Blazing Sun, Reichsguard. Oh my god, so much cav from Falcon. Oh, Lord. Lord have mercy. Karl Franz, Galmaraz, Reichland Rumfang, stand your ground. Blood Roar. A lot of leadership debuffs there. Outriders will be moving out on the flank. So he's gone full mobility here. Full mobility. And Chaos has gone full infantry. Holy crap. That is something to behold. And it's all dismounted? Yep. That is one way to worry less about your micro. Just put them on foot and keep them in a big old blob of goon squatting doom. 2 exalted heroes, both Mark of Corn and Archaon the Everchosen. Obviously, he's the Lord of the End Times. Obviously, he has his Slayer of Kings. And that can be pretty good against some factions, keeping him on foot. Like against Vampire Coast, for example, I think you can totally rock that. Not even bad. Pretty tanky. Has Burning Head to clear out the chaff. Against Skaven and Beastmen, I can see that working. Not horrible, but we'll see how it goes. He's gonna go full Chaos Rush while Empire allies with him. I guess Karl Franz turned to Chaos. Oh, what a dark timeline we're in right now. My lord, the Emperor of Mankind has said, I will ally with you, my dark gods. Can you stop mooing them, Falcon, you wiener? Anyway, you've seen the builds. Skaven and Beastmen over on this side. We got Clan Rats. Jonas and he will be playing as Skaven. A lot of Rat Ogres. Clan Vulcan Tail Slashers with their flaming attacks. Their better base stats. Razorgore Herd, Chaos Warhounds, Warp Lightning Cannons, and an Assassin Goon Squad with Ward Skrulk, Librubonicus, and Rod of Corruption. Lot of gooning here. Beastmen have it too. Morgur with the Chaos Spawn summons, a Gorbel. Got the Eye of Morslib Cygor for the net. And gaze deep into your soul and pin you in place. More Razorgore Herd for the mass and armor piercing. And the Koroks, Manrippers, and Vestigores in the center to hold down the infantry line with some Rattling Guns in the back. So I'm liking this Beastmen build for sure. I'm liking the synergy here. A lot of stuff to protect the back line. A lot of mass, a lot of killing power, even in amongst these 2 units right here, the Razorgore Herd and the Rat Ogres. Not an exorbitant amount of range play, so keeping it online should be a lot easier. A lot of infantry, a lot of chaff. This is going to be a really interesting game. I like these builds a lot. Very cool. Will the Beastmen take this battlefield and tie it up 1-1? Or will Falcon and the Empire, or Chaos and the Empire, manage to go up with the commanding 2-0 lead? We'll find out very soon. Cygor and the Warp Lightning Cannon should force Chaos to move up. They don't have any artillery whatsoever. It is all cav. A lot of Outriders there. Wicked waking up at 4 a.m. and got 13,000 steps in by 8 a.m. Yeah, that's crazy. Alright, here we go, boys. So, who's your money on for these builds? Well, you've seen them already. You've seen the Glorious Knights of Myrmidia, the Knights of the Blazing Sun. God, they have such cool models. Are they going to be able to take this game? Or is it going to be the Beastmen who take it? So the front line is Chaos Warriors and Chosen, and Marauders, as you'd expect. You're going full infantry rush. No AP, really. No great weapons whatsoever. I guess you don't really need them. You just want them to hold while the Cav does all the work for him. And I can pretty much guarantee that Falcon is building these builds from the ground up. A lot of talking in between the players. And with all this infantry, it might be hard for the Beastmen to push them back. Warhounds are moving backwards. Outriders are going to zone them out. And Falcon is going to completely overload the Beastmen right flank and take solace in the woods so the Eye of Morslib cannot fire into them. You can see already one Chaos Marauder unit getting trashed. Kind of surprised to see them shooting into the Marauders instead of the Chaos Warriors, but whatever. Get whatever units you can off the field. And we got a big old artillery box. Big old box for the Beastmen here. Vestigores will do great against Chaos Warriors. They'll do great against the Marauders. They'll trade upwards into Chosen. So they might do well. But remember, the Exalted Heroes and Archaon are going to be a big threat. And they can turn any infantry fight in their favor too. So we'll see how that goes and where they decide to fight. Karl Franz has landed. Razorgore Herd and Warhounds full surround. This can get so dangerous for a lord like Karl Franz. Beautiful play from Beastmen and King of the Dead. Now he's got heals. This might not be catastrophic at all. They routed. Looks like he's going to be okay. Unless they pull through and get that full surround off. He's not pulled out yet. Knights of the Blazing Sun coming in for their charges. A vortex spell of some sort. We'll see what that is in a second. On a Pit of Shades. Oh my god. You don't see that every day. It's Plague from Lord Skrulk. A big old Bubonicus. Casting that. That's a really cool spell. Not very much worth it. Oh my god, Franz is just... Oh, he is going to escape and lets the Chaos Spawn get on top of him. Oh, the Manticore's on him too. Franz might shatter here. That might be disastrous for the Empire. And if he gets away and they get some Jade Wizard action going that way, he'll be fine. Yeah, do not recommend casting that Plague. That was probably not worth it at all. Front line. Well, Archaon and Exalted Hero aren't into melee yet, which is a problem for Chaos because they're what they need to turn the fight against the Bestigors in their favor. Yeah, Karl Franz got regrowth. He's going to be fine. But he's still getting shot. We need to take cover behind those woods quickly. I'd say over here, Beastmen are smashing this engagement. Chaos Spawn, Transformation of Kadan, Bestigors, all that AP. Smashing through the Empire. Big old wind spell coming in. Burning Head going down the length of the Beastmen and Skaven line from Archaon. Generate some good value for sure. But Chaos is already breaking through. And that might turn it back in Chaos' favor, actually. On this side, yeah, Razorgore Herd don't want to be here. That Rod of Corruption hitting everything, but Skrulk could die so fast. Two Exalted Heroes and Archaon needs to be super, super careful. Yeah, Balance Bar for now is in favor of the Beastmen and the Skaven. Assassin pushing forward with the Chaos Spawn summons from Morgur into the Jade Wizard, into the Reichsguard, into the Knights of the Blazing Sun. Don't like getting charged by the Knights of Mormidia. They're investing a lot over here. And in the center, the artillery, the warp lightning cannons and sails are still online and untouched. Oh yeah, dude. I looked away for a second and Skrulk died instantly. That was a big micro mistake from the Skaven for sure. He sent him in against an Exalted Hero, or two Exalted Heroes, and Archaon the Everchosen, who has 886 weapon strength, and it's no surprise that the Lord of Plague died very quickly in that kind of scenario. Full surround off on the Bestigors, but expect them to do well, even in this kind of situation, especially with Razorgore and Rat Ogres backing them up. Sails have pulled backwards, they're dealing with the cavalry, they're dealing with the infantry, they're sniping out the high value threats, and Rattling Guns are untouched and firing it as well. But here comes Archaon, here comes the Exalted Heroes, here comes the Goon Squad, and the Assassins will try to stop him, but what hope does he have in this kind of fight? Not a whole lot. Stay away from Archaon. Him on foot is a scary beast. Now, Falcon's cab play has not worked out so far. It was stuffed bad by the Beastmen. But they're coming back, and Karl Franz is healed up. But he's hurting. He's at 1,300 health and pretty close to the regen cap as well. Got an Earthblood going down on the Knights of the Blazing Sun. Cab kind of getting stuffed up in amongst the Assassins. Trying to get at the Natty Boogle Sharpshooters, but the Rattling Guns are right behind, and look at this point-blank volley into the Knights. Mowing them down here. Over on this side, I Have Morsliv has fired half of his shots, gotten 36 kills so far. Transformation of Kadan always generating good value, but killed off by the Chosen, who have 63 kills. Bestigor is still fighting it out. They might not win this, but they're holding down a huge section of the enemy battle line, so that's a pretty even trade, and overall, this battle's feeling pretty even. Swinging back towards the Chaos and Empire forces a little bit right now. They've stabilized. Franz has done nothing this game. He can get another regrowth going his way. He might be able to get back into this fight. Doing out some high value threats. Morgur still full HP. Gorbel is at 3,000 health. But this is where this whole battle is going to revolve. Archaon wants to get that duel on Morgur. He wants to pop that Flaming Sword of Ruin. Give them flaming damage. With Franz on top as well, it could get pretty nightmarish for the Beastmen. Gorbel starting to get beat down pretty hard. He was at 3,000, now he's at 1,600. Dropping even quicker now. And this Goon Squad is melting the Beastmen. And it swung it already immediately in Chaos' favor. Oh my god, the pick from the three dismounted lords. Shrek'd the Bray Shaman, Shrek'd the Gorbel, is about to Shrek Morgor the Shadow Cave, and that might be your game right there. No more Chaos Spawn summons for you. Flaming Damage Archaeon, 886 weapon strength from Slayer of Kings is active, and it's going to be a nightmare for the Beastmen Goon Squad. Karl Franz wasn't even needed in that fight, and the Beastmen still got destroyed right here. Oh my lord. And what looked like it might be a good situation for the Skaven and for the Beastmen turned completely on its head. Just a handful of seconds. And it got real bad. But Karl Franz is at the heal cap and he's only 400 HP. Does it matter? Morgor can't get out of this situation, I don't think. Chaos ended up winning on the fight over there. Vestigor's doing great here, but I don't know if they have enough to win. Not going to be a good fight for the Knights of the Blazing Sun. I say that as they chop the heads off Vestigors. But they are fighting armor-piercing halberds. I have Morslim is about to rout. That's army losses, man. Crazy. That looked like it was in the favor of Beastmen and Skaven for so long, and then Archaeon and the Exalted Heroes got in, and 5 or 6 attacks, and it was more than enough to finish off the rest of those high-value troops. Gorbel died quick. Bray Shaman died quick. Morgor died quick, and from there it was just a complete snowball. And Falcon and Kabumatic going up 2-0 in this best of 5 series. If they win one more, they've won the tournament. Yeah, I don't know if there was too much healing that went the way of Chaos, though. I think he had to invest most of his Winds of Magic into Karl Franz. He gave him at least 2 regrowths and maybe an Earthblood as well, so there isn't going to be a lot of Winds of Magic left after all those spells. Remember, they were overcasted, so even more expensive. I don't know if Chaos got a whole lot of healing in that game, but maybe the Exalted Heroes did. Oh my god, this Goon Squad was so brutal. On foot, too. You don't see that every day. Great pick. Whether that was Kabumatic or Falcon who called for that, that was a really good idea. And it completely turned that battle on its head. Honestly, King of the Dead and Jonas Nee played very well. I didn't like the Plague summon, the Vortex spell on Outriders of all things. Like, there's no way to pin them down there, so you weren't going to get a lot of value. It was kind of a waste of Winds of Magic. The Beastmen played really well with the Razorgore and with the Warhounds. They almost pinned Karl Franz and killed him off, but the Warhounds terror routed and he just managed to escape before he died. Razorgore are such a good unit for their price. I have Morslim also made a pretty big impact as well. Vestigors were a nice choice to deal with the Chaos front line. But yeah, even though the Rattling Guns and Giselles were online for a long time, Squirrel got suicided into the Exalted Heroes and Archaeon, and we turned that camera away for maybe 15-20 seconds. And in that time, he went from full to 0. Ouch. I like the builds, though. I think if they played that 10 times, it'd probably be a 5-5 matchup, honestly. But they managed to get these 3, the Exalted Heroes and Archaeon, on the right targets. The Chosen were awesome, as you'd expect. 102, 65, and 3 chevrons earned each, and they're going to go up 2-0. Yeah, I don't know if he was baiting with it, because there wasn't... well, they had Archaeon. Maybe maybe that was the plan. Maybe it was meant for France to go in and then Archaeon to drop the Burning Head, and they had a bit of a miscommunication. But it didn't happen, and it almost got Karl Franz killed. Very, very close. But Warhammer 2 is a game of inches. Alright, we're going to MP Crossroads. Yeah, I just don't want to alt tab because I'm afraid it'll mess with the lag. It's been good on my stream for a long time. I don't know if anyone else has had that issue since the first couple games. Oh, so it could all end right here. Falcon, Kabumatic, King of the Dead, and Jonas Nee. Been a good final so far, but Falcon and Kabumatic are up 2-0. And we'll see what their picks are here. What do you guys think? King of the Dead and Jonas Nee gonna bring this one back? Gonna go to game 5? Or will it end in game 3? Yeah, Franz is the meta for the Empire, no question. Volkmar is a go-to pick in some matchups, like against Skaven. On his War Altar, he's super, super good. Unbreakable, cause terror, regens, all that stuff is amazing. But Franz is the go-to in a lot of matchups. Really, anytime you have to deal with monsters, he's the go-to. Gil Mraz is so good. Reikland Runefang is so good. Just support him with a Life Mage, and you're going to get a lot of value out of him, usually, except for like what we saw in Game 1 when he flew in and got netted and pincushioned by 4 Way Watchers in 5 seconds. Like we might see some dwarfs here, boys. It's getting hot in here. I'm gonna take off all my clothes. I am getting so hot. I'm going to take my clothes off. Let it hang all out. It's really hot in my basement right now. Basement dwelling in 2020. Feels good, man. Honestly, I'm very glad I'm set up here, because I've got perfect setup for the Ethernet, which is gigabyte internet here in Ashburn, Virginia. It's very nice. The reason why my uploads are so sexual, and why 1440p videos take like 8 seconds to upload. Sometimes it takes longer to process, but the upload speed is crazy good here, which I quite like. And in the summer, it gets super hot, so basement's a nice place to be. In the winter, it gets cold, though. We don't have terrible weather in Virginia, honestly. Our summers are super hot, our winters are super cold. It's only spring and autumn that are nice. Money is on the Dark Lord Falcon. Sam Hussein, Joshua Carter, what's going on, guys? Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're into game 3. If Falcon and Kabumatic wins this, they win the championship. They become the greatest 2v2 players of all time. No one will be able to take that crown. King of the Dead and Jonas Nee win this, it'll be back to 2-1, and we got a series. Yeah, they were fast. Lizardmen and Greenskins, Dark Elves, and Dwarfs. Are we gonna see an alliance? A reunion of Malekith and Gromradel the White Dwarf. That's what I'm hoping for. Get some fluffy thematics in here, man. And honestly, it's hard to go wrong with that setup anyway. Gromradel is such a good lord. Malekith is such a good lord. Might see it here. Yes, indeed. Malekith betrayed Snorri Whitebeard. For eons, they have hated each other. But now, in the end times, at the end of all things, they come together at last to defeat the Lizardmen Greenskin menace. The most lore-friendly of rivalries. Oh my god, you don't have AC and it's 100 in your house? That sounds like the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. That's when you just sleep naked, dude. Don't even put blankets on. Heals to Jesus, my dude. The War of the Beard was fake news. It was drawn up by the Ratmen, Bocephus, in the sewers of Nuln. They made up this story. Yeah, I think Kalador learned that the hard way. Haldor the Third, I think it was the one who shaved the diplomats. Yeah, it's a good way to get yourself killed. And killed he was. Alright, so Dark Elves and Dwarfs. From a synergy perspective here, my bet is we will see Double Dragon play out of Falcon, or something similar, where we have Malekith on top, dropping Soul Stealers, going after the high value threats. Double Dragon is good versus Lizardmen, and it's good versus Greenskins, and it'll have artillery support and a lot of infantry backing it up from the Dwarfs. Who will probably have like 3 or 4 cannons this game as well. So that's what I'm expecting from Dark Elves. I might be mistaken, but we'll see. For Lizardmen and Greenskins, it's going to be all about that dino play and the infantry rush, and they better just get in and start smashing stuff quick. The longer those cannons are online, the more damage those dinosaurs are going to take, and you really can't afford it. Well, yeah, Johannesburg is... Yeah, South Africa is in middle of winter now, isn't it? Completely different hemisphere. So 6 degrees Celsius, what? That's like... Is that 40? Is that around 40 or 45 Fahrenheit? Would that be... That's above freezing, right? Well, yeah, freezing would be 0. I think. I don't pay much attention to Celsius, to be honest, because I'm American. This is America, goddammit. My sister actually just went to safari in South Africa maybe 6 months ago. Her and her husband, they had a good time, and they left me. I was jealous. Just worked on Warhammer videos while they partied in South Africa. Just watched giraffes and lions and leopards and crocodiles, man. Hippopotami. Alright, we got Dark Elves and Dwarfs. Do we have a Gromberzel Malekith squad? No, Ungrim. Lame. You guys had a chance. Honestly, Gromberzel is better than Ungrim anyway. Lame-o. It is not Malekith. It is a Supreme Sorceress of the Lore of Fire, so my fluff boner has completely dissipated at this point. Feels weird, men. We have Dwarf Warriors, a front line of long... Yeah, same thing as that first game, actually, I think. Warlords this time, though. Some Slayers in the back. Looking like 3 cannons. Some Dark Riders. Some Cold Ones. A lot of Dark Rider repeater crossbows. Yeah, actually, we do not have the Double Dragon play at all. We have the Double Hydra play instead. The chill Centaur, bro. This is so chill, bro. This is so chill. So this thing is scary. I mean, it's got 12 more melee attack than a normal Hydra. Got an amazing breath attack. And together, both of them are going to be looking to get some nasty ones on the flank of the enemy army. And generally cause a lot of... What? Oh my god! Yes! You legends! The meme is real, the dream is real. I am not going to talk about it because I do not want to tell them what is happening if they're stream sniping. But oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think you guys know. Let's talk about it as soon as the battle starts. Will it work? I have no idea. Will it be awesome? Is it the best meme ever? Yes. This is what streams are made for. This is what I am made for. A moment like this. It's the sexiest thing in the world. There's no way they could lose. Alright. I think you guys know what's happening here. But, yeah. Masked stuff. The Death Star is real, let's just say that. Well, they have a long way to go, though. This is a big old map. It's a big old map. Might not be the one to do it on. I like it. Anytime the memes come out is when the dreams come out. Yeah. Well, they're not gonna stick in this the whole time. They're doing this so they can get the advantage of... Let me see if I can move my mouse to actually... They're doing it so they can Night Shroud, obviously. That's the whole point of the stock. They're trying to get it so that they're all under the effects, but can they actually close the gap in time on a map this big? This would work. This would honestly be a lot more efficient on a smaller map, but we'll see. Pro strats make Falcon laugh so hard he can't play. $2. Thank you, Night Crow. Much appreciated for all the support today. You've been awesome.
Fortune favors the...
Yeah, we'll see, man. I'm a little bit dubious about it just because it's such a flat, open map, and it's gonna take a long time to close the gap here, but it can work. Yeah, they didn't know what the map was. They didn't know it was a wide open flat one. Honestly, on a map with a lot of terrain, this could be great. A smaller one too. I'm gonna be curious to see. I won't judge it yet. I won't judge it. So, I mean, for the Dawi and for the Dark Elves, the plan is simple. Stay the hell away and shoot them to death with cannons and with Dark Riders. They've got all the time in the world to do so. How far do you think they can make it in a 40-second span? Oh, they'd be in so much better position if they just came over here. I think they can make it, like, to there, maybe, during the duration of the spell. Which, honestly, is not the worst thing. That's basically cutting the effectiveness of the cannons in half, if they can get in on them first. That's the linchpin of this entire build. These need to die very early on. If they are allowed to fire, if they get stuffed up in the front ranks of Dawi, this is going to be over very, very quickly. Now, they do have tools for doing so. See that? Coming in from the side. But yeah, this is going to be crazy. Look at how far they have to go, man. They picked the wrong side, too. The avalanche of mass is on its way. Not something you see every day. Ungrim's gonna have his work cut out for him. There's a lot of monsters to slice down. They're beginning to spread out now because the spell is going to wear off relatively soon. Yeah, honestly, not that bad. Not that bad. I mean, cannons will generate some value here for sure, but... I mean, that... I don't know, how... Oh, cannons... Cannons were still not in range. So, it might have been a better idea to hold on to that Night Shroud until you get closer and then pop it. But then the Dark Riders will find you anyway, so... Hard to know what the right call is there. They're spread out now, so the cannons won't generate absurd value. Force Common Spider Riders beginning to get shot down by the cannon crews. And getting in and amongst the cannons will be difficult. Falcon has a lot of cav here. Dark Riders will actually do pretty okay against Force Common Spider Riders, despite them having that 20% ward save from poison. Total ones will run over them, and they're not going to be able to get in quickly. But they are absorbing all the shots. The Dreadsaurian and the other dinos don't have to. And the Arachnarok, so not too bad either. Paco Pac will definitely want to stay back. They need the cav to be online and functional into the late game to shut down the range play for the Dark Elves and for the Dwarfs. If they lose the Paco Pac and these Colon Riders early, could get bad. And this, I do not recommend. Jonas, your Arachnarok is a little bit far up. Definitely want to pull that back. I want to give them too many shots here. What spellcaster do they have? They have a Life Slan, which will heal Arachnaroks, and it will heal Greenskin's troops. So that Arachnarok will have some heals for sure. Keep the Dreadsaurian and the Arachnarok together, and you could get some good value from Earthbloods and Regos. And of course from that Bubble of Note too. The Spear Riders, or Coleman Riders rather, are beginning to get torn up by the cannons, and these flank shots are always a problem. Don't want to turn your flank when you're in range, because they will get destroyed. 6 or 7 models a volley every single time. For now, looks like he's going for the Dreadsaurian, but it's got 11,000 HP and hasn't taken too many losses so far. 3 dead in that shot. Now range those cannons, my dude. Here they come. They got plenty of AP on the front ranks, that's for sure. They got a bunch of Black Orcs, a bunch of Kroxigors. Black Orcs are a little bit slow behind at the moment. Slime getting focused down by the cannons. Trolls are into melee, in and amongst the Longbeards. They're gonna get a nice rear charge here, I think. Don't want to go straight for this unit. That's AP and bonus for, well, just AP and charge defense. Here comes the Scourge Runner Chariots in melee. Here comes the Big Boss. Here comes the Dreadsaurian and the Ragnarok. And a big Cav contingent, which should be able to beat the Dark Elves Cav over here. Now remember, Chill of Sontar will be there to support. Got a big Burning Head coming down on the cohort of Sotek. Refuse to Die not popped, but they did get their shield of the old ones off in time. Took half damage. Skink are going to be terrible in the front ranks, obviously. But they might be able to open up some opportunities to get into the cannons. Right here. Yeah, Spider Riders coming in. Spear Riders coming in. And full surround off on the Chill of Sontar. And here comes Lizardman Cav. Paco Pot gonna get a full charge bonus off. Not countercharged by Falcon. I'm not sure they got their charge bonus off in time. But still, Cold One Knight's doing just fine. And the Paco Pot are getting dumpstered in that fight anyway. Wow, I guess they did get their charge bonus off. Itchy Nuisance on all the Dark Riders. Hydra down to half HP. Dreadsaurian getting focused down by 3 Dark Riders, all with AP bullets. That's going to hurt a lot. And it's not going to be around for very long unless you get some Earthbloods and Regrowths going its way. Oh, yikes. This is already looking a little bit iffy for the Greenskins and for the Lizardmen. Black Orcs are a little bit late into the melee fight, but they are here now. Ragnarok is not on the Hydras. It's fighting some Longbeards, which is also not really ideal for that. Murderous Prowess is popped. Salon is off the field. That means no heals. Dreadsaurian's gonna die here, man. Hydra's on top of it, too. Great focus fire coming in, a layered defense. Big Boss will help out a little bit, but this is looking very iffy for the Greenskins and Lizardmen. Trolls coming in on the Longbeards. Chill of Sontar coming in just in time. Frostbite contact effect on them. Make it a lot harder to cycle charge, and Terror Route imminent. For the Stone Trolls, oh my god, Dreadsaurian's dead. Ragnarok will be next. Quarrelers and Dark Rider line has not been shut down at all. Cannons are all still online. And Dwarfs have shown their power in 2v2s as a sturdy shield wall. And no one's had any answer for it. This is over. I don't see a way back for the Greenskins and Lizardmen. Dominant firing line, and this has been the linchpin for all these dwarf builds. Dwarfs matching up with elves, whether it be dark elves or wood elves. The cannons and the AP focus fire is just way too much. Black Orcs just made it into melee, and they're already dead. This was a dominant performance. Cold One Knights after the Trolls. Great engagement for them. And that's going to be your tournament, boys. That's going to be a 3-0 sweep, I think. Falcon's army builds and Kabumatic's dwarf play and focus fire. So strong in the grand finals here. And it's going to be army losses. Game, set, match. Wow. Yeah, Foot of Gork would have maybe gotten the Dark Riders moving, but at the end of the day, they don't have a net. Well, I guess you can bring a light slot to maybe set up that, but I mean, I don't think it changes anything here. Dwarfs are a nightmare for dino factions in this kind of scenario. Dreadsaurian is so hard to keep online against all that AP, all that artillery. Stone Trolls, Ragnarok, Salon, Dreadsaurian, all of it shot down before they were able to do anything of note. Now the Supreme Sorceress is having a grand old time with the Chill of Sontar. Falcon is a scary dude, but honestly, huge props to Kabumatic as well. And great game to them, great series, 3-0 sweep. They synergized incredibly well. That entire tournament, they were always on the same page, always doing exactly what they needed to do, and this build was hard counter for what the Greenskins and Lizardmen were trying to do. And honestly, Night Shroud just didn't generate a whole lot of value. I love the idea, I love the memes, it was awesome. Thank you to Jonas Nee and King of the Dead for breaking that one out, because it was funny, and it could have worked in a different scenario, possibly. But here, on MP Crossroads, on a map that large, especially where they decided to deploy, which was on the other side, I mean, Night Shroud ended before they were even in range of the cannons. Then at that point, it's kind of a pointless spell. Dreadsaurian did a whole lot of nothing. Paco Pot cohort got destroyed by the Cold One countercharge, which kind of surprised me, because they should be able to do well against Cold Ones. Ungram got 11 kills. Cream Sorceress got 138 with her burning heads. And looks like Kabumatic and Falcon are going to take the Buddy Cop 2v2 Invitational Tournament. Very well played to all players. Really fun. Really fun to watch. Great games there. Especially in that second series. Yeah, I didn't see what the comment was about balance, but 2v2s in general aren't really, they don't have a lot of say in what the balance is like. It's its own thing. It's very different than 1v1s. It's allows you to bring synergy that you would never be able to bring in a normal campaign or normal custom battle scenario. And we've seen that with the Dwarfs, man. They are a really strong 2v2 faction. Alright, so Falcon and Kabumatic are your champions. I will talk to them after this stream. That was a fun game. We win something? No. I'll talk to you guys after it. Yeah, 2v2 is really hard to balance. I'm trying to think what, if you're a Lizardman or Greenskins there, what do you do to win that game? And I think the answer is just go really wide. The way Lizardmen typically beat Dwarfs in a normal scenario, in a 1v1 matchup, is they go really wide. They build a lot of Saurus. They don't give the Dwarfs any large dinos to shoot at. They spam the field with Skinks, they spam the field with Saurus, and they swarm the field. If you do that with Black Orc support, then the cannons don't really have a whole lot to shoot at. The Greenskins can go for the firing line. They can go for the Orc Airboys and the Night Goblins to shoot into the Hydras and get rid of them. And I think really wide builds for both players would have probably worked out better than the full Arachnarok and Dreadsaurian and large target kind of build. Again, they were going for the memes. They weren't probably going for the most competitive thing anyway. But I think that's what I would do if I was in that scenario. Best way to beat Dwarfs is just swarm the field with a ton of bodies and drown them in a tide of your own blood. The way to do it. I think that would have helped a lot. Because then the Dark Riders don't really have anything high value to shoot into. I mean, some Black Orcs, sure, but they needed a few more Black Orcs. Those Black Orcs needed to get into melee a little bit earlier, and just more bodies. Yeah, that's a fun one, guys. If you enjoyed that, be sure to leave a like, and if you want to see more of those kind of 2v2 tournaments, I'd be down for it. I mean, we had some really fun games today. Quite enjoyed that. Let me go through donations real quick again, and chill for a second here. Yeah, today we had the Tank 1 with $10 and $10. Thank you for those. We had Nevada 2217 with the $10. Loves my smooth voice. Thank you very much, my friend. We had Rafael Alvarelos, $5, and Darag Rudy, $10, talking about some Crypt Horror booty, and plenty of super chats as well. So I want to thank you guys so much for the support and coming out spending your Saturday afternoon with me. Had a great time with it. And if you guys want to see more, let me know. And there will be plenty more content from Warhammer 2, Hunt Showdown, and other games coming very, very soon. I will see you guys next time. Indie Pride. Enough for now. Go on, guys.